are no words. What did we
we should just sit here in silence, Tom, for the next 20 minutes.
Oh, man. One more. All right, Gene, one more little shake of the head. What did we just watch for the better part of 4 hours? The Florida State Seminoles, dear friends, guys, gals who are tuning in right now to Warchant TV, 9-3. 9-3 this regular season after a 45-38 victory over the Florida Gators that felt like watching a Godfather movie marathon on cable in all the right ways, Gene, in all the right ways. I was at this game, Gene. I was there for the first quarter, and I left when old Fitzy missed a field goal to the left. I got a pedicab, went to the garage near Hotel Indigo, got home before halftime, and I thought, good job. It's another hour and a half before Gene and I hit the airwaves. 2.5 hours later, here we are, Gene, victorious over the Gators.
Yeah, there we go.
Gene Williams, founder administrator of Warchant.com. You guys are tuned into Warchant GameDay's postgame call-in show presented by our friends at Zaxby's. Welcome in. Sound off in that comment section. Hit the like button below and celebrate.
I'm hearing a lot of this.
Pop
going on. People talking about tomorrow. There's going to be some of that going on tomorrow at the corner pocket, Tom. We said they win 5 in a row. It's going down at the corner pocket tomorrow. So they did 5 in a row. They beat the Gators. So tell people that are going to be in town, if they hang out a little longer, go to the corner pocket tomorrow. We'll also stream live tomorrow right here. Yes. On Warchant TV if you can't be there. So tell us a little bit about the festivities tomorrow at the corner pocket to celebrate being state champs.
It is the brainchild of one pillar, Eric Angel, who asked our own Jeff Cameron, Gene. It was after the bye week, or maybe the Monday after Clemson. He said, if we finish 5-0, Jeff, would you do a keg stand at the corner pocket? And Jeff said, sure, I'll do a keg stand at the corner pocket. And then Ira Schofel came on the show later that day on Warchant TV and the Jeff Cameron Show. And Jeff said, Ira, do you want in on this? And Ira said, I'll do a beer funnel. And so 2 were in. And then I said, well, guys, don't leave me out. I'll do a keg stand too. And then, Gene, we asked you, what would you do? And you said, I'll do a beer funnel too.
I can't. I succumb to peer pressure. I'm weak. So plus, especially when it comes to alcohol and FSU kicking ass. So I'm kind of weak.
Well, we're all a little weak in the knees right now after what we just watched. That was an absolute
weak in the heart.
Street fight slugfest that Florida State came out on top. Gene, this game had everything. It had everything.
Well, it didn't have defense.
Well, but you got defensive stops to start the second half. 3 straight defensive. That helped swing the momentum. But then with the 2-touchdown lead, the Gators come right back, tie the ball game. Florida State goes down the field, takes the lead late, and counter finally worked on that final touchdown drive. Folks, if you're not hearing enthusiasm in my voice on the level that you would expect, we're still in shock.
Oh, and I'm exhausted.
From
watching that.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I mean, I'm happy as all hell, but man, I feel like I was out there. I feel like I'm beat to shit watching that thing. I mean, it was, but you know what? I want to be very excited about this. I'm positive they won a tight game. I knew they're going to have a game like this. They're going to have to pull it out. Yeah. And man, hats off to Jordan Travis. This is a game where Jordan Travis willed you to victory. I mean, this was him. Yeah. I know, Benson had a couple nice runs but I mean, there were penalties. Guys were dropping passes. The defense was but he was not to be denied. Jordan Travis was unreal in this game. If this is a team, let's say they beat Wake Forest and they beat NC State and Florida State's vying for the playoffs, he's got to be, this might have been his Heisman moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In this game. He's playing as good as any quarterback, if not better than any quarterback. And a night like tonight, if it wasn't, they were 3 losses, he'd be in New York, maybe winning the Heisman right now. He played that well.
Patrick, thank you for the contribution. He says he's proud of the team. He's proud of the players, the coaches. You got to be. And U.S. Air Force, Noel, also thank you very much. Thank you for your service. Most intense, I think is what you're saying, most intense game of the season. And I'll tell you, Gene, it was emotional. I did not expect, and our own Dominic Robinson was coaching a playoff game tonight in Arizona, which is why we didn't have a Warchant watch-along. But it was a little blessing in disguise, Gene, because I got to go into this football game. But I got in just in time to watch the Noles come out of the tunnel. And from the word go, U.S. Air Force. Noel, you're absolutely correct. This was an intense game. Third down picked up. Pokey Wilson over the middle, fumble. And the Gators have it near midfield. Fourth down stand for Florida State. You thought, here we go. It's on. Trey Benson, a long run in which he shoves a Gator defender down to the.
Oh, that was great.
That is my corner of the field. I was in section 37, and it was right in front of me where that play was made. Then Benson scores on the very next play from scrimmage. And back and forth we went, Gene, because the Gators hit a long kick return, a deep shot, wide open, busted coverage. This game just never stopped beyond that point. It had everything. And now we're all just sitting here going, what in the hell was that? But we do know one thing for sure, Gene. It was a Noles win. Florida State has swept their in-state rivals. You are correct, sir. The state championship belongs in Tallahassee. And it is that Mike Norvell gets another landmark moment as Florida State proceeds into bowl season. It's amazing.
And I think, speaking of Gators, I think this almost, unless some weird things happen and Florida State can back into that Orange Bowl, I think a lot of people are going to be going on I-10 heading to Jacksonville. I really think that the Gator Bowl is going to be it. Yeah, it was a great win. Look, it wasn't great on the field. You can say some of the stuff that happened. You know what? Not only am I thrilled you beat the Gators.
Yep.
I mean, that's always, especially you lost 3 in a row. You needed, and they needed this win because they were highly favored. You had all the momentum. You needed that momentum going into the offseason. You needed this. But to me, I was like, when they had that bogus, it was 4th and what was it on that penalty, Tom?
4th and 12.
4th and 18. No, it was 4th and 18.
All right.
And that ridiculous pass interference call that they threw. And I'm like, I can imagine our post-game show. If they go down and score, get the 2-pointer, it's going to be all just a bitch fest at the SEC officials. It would have been the whole offseason. That's all it would have been. It's bitching about that one play and that one missed call, which it was a horrible. Like, if for once the broadcasters were right, first he said that was a textbook coverage.
Yep.
And then he's like, in a game like this, they've been pushing and shoving the whole time. You don't do that. The officials at that moment, you never call that. That's awful.
Look, man, Johnny Wilson had a lot of drops, a lot of shaky moments tonight out in routes.
Yeah.
A couple of times he was clearly interfered with in the first half of this football game. And the refs let it go. And if that's going to be the standard, then fine. Same thing with Jared Verse. You saw him get mugged on the line of scrimmage for a lot of this first half especially. And you're saying, all right, if that's going to be the standard, then you really can't call Florida State's offensive line for holding. And you got to live by that standard.
Yeah.
But at the end of the game, the pass interference, even though they were letting him play, was indeed called. And then as it turns out, Gene, Florida State got away with a face mask on the final play of the football game. And thankfully, those SEC officials kept the yellow hanky in their pockets. And so here
they knew at that point they might be able to get out of the stadium if they called another flag there on a 4th down play.
They might have been too exhausted because they were running around for 4 hours themselves. 100 Proof Football said that Jordan Travis is a 100 Proof Heisman candidate.
Yes.
We enjoy your contributions. FSU.
Hey, New York. I mean, hashtag, Jordan to New York. I mean, he ought to get an invite. I mean, come on, look at this guy play. It's insane. That one, he had like 4 guys he missed tackles for. I mean, it's nuts.
That was one of the best plays I've ever seen.
Oh my God, Z-Chan. Whoa.
Whoa, Z-Chan.
You the man.
State champ.
Cheers, buddy.
Take the state championship up to Thomasville. That's right, the official DMD of Warchant TV, Z-Chan. You know what it is. Haven't even left Oak yet. Good for you.
Good, yes.
The crowd was electric tonight. It just felt good to be around that, even if it was for about 20, 25.
So I'm curious, Tom, because unfortunately I don't like fight. I can go for a little bit, and I do sometimes, and I kind of hate fighting the traffic coming back and trying to get back. I don't want to miss part of the game. So what was that atmosphere like? I mean, was it a la Notre Dame last year? Was it Oak? I mean, how would you rate that environment?
I thought the intro was okay. I mean, because, Gene, you've been there for some legendary moments and atmospheres, and I have too. I thought it was good. It was charged. But then when they got the 4th down stop, the crowd was off and running at that point because it's so bottled up. You had Tatum Bethune and Renardo Green waiting on the backside of part of that play, and then Jared Verse is also there to clean it up. I thought Renardo Green had a really good night tonight. Made a lot of different plays. I know he was flagged for a pass interference. A late hit or some ridiculous thing because the referees were allowing the scrum to go on, Gene, like this is a rugby match in Australia or something along those lines, and now you're going to call somebody for being in there late. But once that moment happened in the first quarter, the 4th down stand, all the people around me, it was just positively electric, and it was hard to leave. The best moment I could was just after that missed kick because I didn't want to be bad luck. I'm saying it's tied. It's still tied right now. I'm going to leave before it gets worse. Let's make sure we're home for the second
You
half.
took one for the team, Tom. We appreciate that. That's big of you.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. They're just dropping bags from the sky. Andy.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Andy, thank you so much. Go Noles. Wow. State champs. Next year, ACC champs. Thanks, Gene and the Warchant staff for great coverage all year. Andy, thank you.
Andy, it's our pleasure, man. We love it. And we love nights like this, man. It makes it worthwhile. We get to see the fans fired up.
Yep.
You beat the slimy lizards to the south. It's all good, man. You're state champs. You're going to a good bowl now.
Unbelievable.
How about that?
It has been what Andy opened up on the DMD. Alex, thank you so much.
Alex.
Screw the Gators, screw the refs.
Screw the refs, yes.
Let's get the keg stand started.
Woo!
All right, here's a confession for everybody. We're starting to get in the groove as nearly 3,000 of you are tuned in right now to Warchant GameDay's post-game call-in show. Toss us a like underneath the video. Let's get up to 1,000 likes right now. I want everybody in 3, 2, 1 to hit the like button.
Hit that button.
3,
hit the thumb up.
2, 1. Hit the like button. Thank you. I'm going to confess something, Gene. I've got my JCS mug right here. Yep. This is water because I'm going to be doing a keg stand and we're going to have a good time tomorrow.
I'm doing funnels tomorrow, Tom, and I'm dropping down some Oyster City. Thank you, ABC.
ABC Fine Wine and Spirits coming through for us. Well, but I got pre-production to do, Gene. There's nothing.
I hear what it is. You got about how many years do I have on you too, Tom? Come on, keep up with the old folks.
That's right. But I'm also wiser than my years would suggest.
Okay, I'll give you that. You're not as wise as I am, a dumbass, but I'm freaking getting hammered. What the hell?
That's all right. I was screaming like a dumbass in my living room tonight. I know a lot of you were out there too if you weren't already in Doak. And for those of you that are going to be there at Corner Pocket, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, tomorrow the festivities begin at 11:30. Make sure that you bring some honey, because if you're in the stadium tonight, you're not going to have much of a voice to communicate with us tomorrow at the CP. Gordon, I saw your contribution. My neighbors hate me right now. And being in South Florida, this is going to be great on Monday. Go Noles. Thank you, Warchant, for the excellent coverage this football season. We will get one more. That's right. We get one more football game, and it's going to be a really fun one because now there is no conversation, Gene, of I wish we could have just won that last football game. No, sir.
No,
sir.
Or like, man, it's like now we'd be doing the last couple of years we've done the show, Tom. It's like the season was over now. I mean, that's the weirdest thing. I mean, we were done. We were done. We were talking basketball. Now, nope.
Oh no, we're not talking basketball right now. No.
Well, we're definitely not doing that either. Even if the season was over in football or not. But anyway, the point is, there's a good bowl game coming, and you're gonna have a good opponent. And the way some things work out tomorrow, you never know. What if Florida State's playing the Orange Bowl against a pretty big opponent? It could happen.
Yeah, it could. It could. There aren't that many dominoes that have to fall.
No, a couple, like 2 dominoes have to fall at this point. You're there.
2 of them. I am just emotionally starting to get caught up here, Gene, because this is the game that matters to me. I know that, for Jeff and for you, I think Miami is the one that has that little extra. These are both rivalry games, but Miami has that little extra salt to it. This is the one for me. I am so freaking fired up, everybody. I hope you are too. Florida State. It wasn't as pretty as we predicted it was going to be, but Florida State gets to 45 points. They do so with a missed field goal, with turnovers, with issues that we said couldn't happen.
More drops than I think they've had all season in a game.
Oh, I mean, since
I don't think this season, did they have that? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I've tried to erase that game out of my mind, but yeah, you're probably right.
It felt like NC State on the road. I mean, they did all these things that put them behind the 8 ball. And yet there they are. The defense comes out with 3 straight stops to start the second half. The offense looks unstoppable. But the key drive to me, Gene, that brought Florida back in that game was I think they ran 19 plays from inside the 10-yard line. It was a 6.5, 7-minute drive on the clock, but it took about 20, 25 minutes in real time. And that allowed Florida's defense to rest because they were gassed.
Yeah, that was big. And they got that 3 and out. I'm just like, that's when you're like, oh, man, Florida had to work their ass off to get that touchdown. And then you go 3 and out, put the defense right back out on the field.
Yeah.
I was hoping and praying when they got up 2 scores and the defense was stoning. I'm like, man, you got one more stop here. They're gonna Ole. They're done.
Yep.
At that point, but nope.
Well, and
back in it.
Some of the things that happened tonight, it's just so hard to put this would be the most giant bow in the world to fit around this game. There's so much that happened, but what was surprising to me, something I got wrong off the bat, I thought Florida State had a chance to win and dominate both lines of scrimmage. That just didn't happen.
No.
Mainly speaking, that did not happen. There is still work to be done. I like winning a football game, Gene, and saying, all right, we've got to get better here, here, and here. It's a lot easier to take and talk about those things instead of losing and being reminded that there's a gap between where you are now and where you want to go. The line of scrimmage was not convincingly won by Florida State tonight, but Jordan Travis was a freaking magician.
Yeah.
And then there were some big plays made when they had to be made by a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Explosive plays for Florida State on offense tonight.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm assuming Jordan's going to be the one breaking the rock tonight. He should.
It's got to be.
He was just electric. I've still that play ought to just the one where he broke all those tackles and got to the end. It's almost a shame he didn't get in the end zone. I mean, I know they did right after, but they reversed it, didn't let him get in the end zone. But the dude is magical. And I really think Tom, remember that knee injury we talked about? He didn't run very much.
Yes.
They're never going to talk about it. Mike Norvell doesn't. I get it. That's his choice. He's a head coach. But I think for a few weeks he was not 100% on that leg. That knee, and I think he is now obviously, and how dynamic he can be when he's fully healthy. And he's got, I mean, imagine if guys catch the ball, how good he could have been. That first touchdown was a throw, or it should have been a touchdown to Johnny Wilson in the back of the end zone was perfect. I mean, he was throwing good balls all over the place other than the pick. He was on fire throwing and running the football. It was a pleasure to see. It's just a shame the defense did not show up today, and it's just especially a little bit disappointing that they were just getting gutted at the point of attack. Now, I know there were some holds. I saw, at least you mentioned Jared Verse. I saw 2 blatant ones on Fabian Lovett at the point where he was being wrapped up. But I guess, like you said, the SEC officials let them play, except for, of course, that one play when the game should have been over. But maybe that's what it was. I don't know if they were being biased or what, but that was a little frustrating. But either way, this was not the Florida State offensive line or defensive line, other than hitting that counter at the end and hitting a couple plays here and there, but there wasn't consistency. There was a lot of we would get no yards, but then you'd see a 17-yard run.
Yeah, there were a couple of combos. Trey Benson's first touchdown came after a counter. You could see it. It was awesome, Gene. It was just the angle that I had in the corner. It was to the left of where the students sit. It's on the alumni corner of the stadium in Section 37. You could see the hole. It reminded me of some of the holes that Dalvin Cook ran through in the Rose Bowl. Unfortunately, Florida State didn't win that game. But you're just seeing daylight. Here it is. And Benson comes down the field, the stiff arm, and then he scores on the next play.
That was beautiful.
Same thing later when they had the counter to the right in the fourth quarter, that last score, and then next play, boom, he's in there. It's just, they were explosive tonight, but they weren't consistent. And I could count Jordan's 3 worst throws. He didn't make a lot of bad throws tonight, but the early 4th and 12 that could have been picked, where Florida State goes for it. Then there's the interception, but then there's the one to Johnny where he's got to wait on the ball because he had just beaten the Florida corner right off the line of scrimmage. It was a deep shot down the sideline. It's going to be a walk-in touchdown.
And don't forget what might have been the biggest miss of his day.
Which one?
Toa Feely running down wide open down the middle for what would have been a 70-yard touchdown.
There was nobody there, and
he just had put a little air under that thing. And he walks in.
That was the first play of that drive. But yeah, it was just a night where if you want to say that one storyline towered above all the others, I think you're wrong. Then you didn't watch the game. There are so many storylines on this night, and that's why we love rivalry games. Gene, we'll be able to talk about this as we will tonight, but tomorrow and all off season, and this has to be a 20 to 30-minute conversation. It just has to be, because you could talk about some of the guys that were less than stellar. You could talk about the drops, but you could talk about the greatness of Jordan Travis, Trey Benson being situationally good. I mean, Kentron making a nice adjustment on a touchdown catch after he had to drop down the sideline earlier in the football game. How about Johnny's catch, Gene, on 3rd down?
Oh, that was huge, because I'm thinking at that point, man, you don't make that, you got to kick it back to him. You're in big trouble.
Yep. Yeah, and he
came through he had a couple really nice contested catches.
Yes.
It's almost like he's better in a contested catch situation than he's got I don't know, but we knew this going in, Tom. We saw it back in the spring in practice. He'd make these dynamic plays, and you see the ability and the size. You go, man, this kid's going to be special. And then he'd have an easy one and he'd drop it. And it would happen almost every practice. And it was so maddening to see, but you saw the unlimited potential. And we saw some of that tonight. He made big plays and he dropped a couple as well.
Yeah, he did. And I think a lot of players had that kind of a night where it was up and it was down. But the guy who was transcendent above them all was Jordan Travis.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, I'm going to answer Joe Blow. I have not seen that, but if they said it the wrong, the officials were SEC. Now, I think I heard, do they have ACC officials actually in the booth?
No, SEC as well, according
There
to
are both. Okay. I heard
yeah.
somebody say they have SEC on the field and ACC in the booth. I knew the officials on the field that were making those calls were SEC.
Yeah, that alternating rule that was banned after whatever the game down in Gainesville was. That apparently that contract was not renewed last year. We were
Yeah.
assuming because remember they forgot what down it was in Gainesville last
Oh,
year.
yeah. Oh, trust me, Corey loves it. Ever listen to Wake Up Warchant? I think every other podcast he talks about that play.
Yeah, and it was ACC officials as it turned out. So
Yeah.
big surprise. So now it's back to the way it used to be when I was a kid,
Yeah.
which is the home stadium has the opposite official, the opposite conference official. So here's hoping maybe, Gene, in about 3-4 years, it's always SEC officials, home or away.
Or how about we just have national officials? We stop these conference affiliated officials that have a bias towards everything.
Yep.
I mean, I just get rid of it. It's ridiculous.
It's a nostalgic edition today. It's a bittersweet edition of the Warchant Postgame call-in show presented by Zaxby's. Of course, there's a bowl game coming, everybody, but we've got to thank our title sponsor. It's Danny at Zaxby's, and it's Tallahassee area Zaxby's. They're Golden Chief boosters for over 17 years. When you support Tallahassee Zaxby's, you are supporting the football program and the other athletic programs at Florida State. Pre-game, post-game, after an ass kicking of the Gators or a close one. Anytime is the right time for Zaxby's platters, just as long as you're hungry. Feed your team with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers or boneless or traditional wings. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with a sampler platter. And don't forget that world-famous sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving with Zaxby's platters. Order online or in the app. Your Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Golden Chief booster for 17 years. Go freaking Noles. What an atmosphere tonight. It'll be one that everybody who is in attendance will remember for a long, long time. Two quarterbacks that play different styles, going toe-to-toe, play for play, drive for drive. You had everything from Jordan Travis escaping 4 sacks in one play to Anthony Richardson being tackled 5 yards from the sticks and running through 7 Nole defenders to pick up an extra 6 or 7 yards. This was like a montage in a Rocky movie, Gene. Just back and forth and back and forth. And in the end, it wasn't the team who had the ball last with a chance to score that closed it out. The Noles defense got the stop, and Florida State exhales with a 9-3 record and a 45-38 victory. This is, I guess, what it's like to live in the Big 12 every week, Gene.
So, yeah. I mean, Richard, I'm so amazed that they tout him as an NFL prospect. I think he went most of the second half without completing a pass.
Yeah.
He's a freak athlete. He's got a strong arm, but this guy was going to get torn up if he tries to go to the NFL. But whatever. I hope he does. I don't like seeing FSU try to tackle him. And then, of course, we got rid of one ATN. Finally, we got another one to deal with. He's a freshman, right?
He is a freshman.
Freaking great. And this other little jerk off, this Pearsall guy, every single play, he whines every play. I'm interfered with. Dude, you're not Cooper Kupp. Stop your whining.
There was
so I've got some new Gators that very much dislike.
Well, that's part of it. You want that. You need that. That's what makes the rivalry special. But one thing I'd say, Gene, is they talked about it all week long. Here's another thing that I assumed was going to happen, and it didn't. The maturity about not getting sucked into the little things of a rivalry game and mistakes of post-whistle nonsense. Or, I mean, Florida State was in danger, I think, about 9 different times, Gene, of getting flagged for taunting. Florida was the same. You had a scuffle at one point in the second quarter that had to be broken up behind a play. I thought Florida State would handle this much like the Miami trip, which was all business. Every bit of this game from start to finish felt extra emotional and a little bit on the edge and out of control.
And I think it did have an impact, not like last year.
Yeah.
But I think they played a little tight. You could see some of the stuff, they seemed a little off. They weren't as clean as they had been the last few games on this. So I think the moment got to them a little bit. They realized how big it was. They saw that crowd, everything going on. And I get it. I mean, these are young adults and they're in that situation. It's highly emotional. It's one thing to be calm and collected when you're playing Georgia Tech or Louisiana or Syracuse. It's a totally different thing. Or when you're just blasting the living crap out of Miami, who's awful. You got a team that wants to fight you on that stage.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. But, at the end of the day, we can analyze all we want, but they found a way. They got, like you said, the defense did get the stop at the end. They found a way to win. Travis rose up and did what he needed to do to get them to win. And you beat your rivals, your state champs, your 9 wins. You got 5 wins in a row. You're going to a good bowl, man. Life is good.
Yeah, Sourcing Sailor, I see that they played against each other in high school. I get that. There's history here. But
Yeah.
there's history against Miami too, Sourcing Sailor. And Florida State didn't bite on any of that when they went down into Miami Gardens and beat the tar out of the Hurricanes. So I just found that a little bit interesting tonight. And I saw Marvin Jones had
doing a funnel, Terry. I hope that's not the Terry who's our call screener. He's trying to push me he wants him and Dan to hold me up on the keg stand. I'm doing a funnel. That's what I promised.
We call them keg bearers. Yeah, that's what the guys who hold the leg up, they're the keg bearers. Look, Gene, bottom line is we can have, and I'm sure we will on the JCS this week, another day, a discussion about some of the things that need to be cleaned up after this football game. But that's not tonight. That's not tonight.
Yeah.
You win the state championship. You achieve 9 wins this season. 9 wins with a lot of your key players missing for several games this year on a team that we didn't think was all that deep. You win the state. You check just about every box that we hoped you would check before the season started. Maybe a couple more, couple extra ones. So tonight is about celebrating. Open up the beer. If you got an extra spirit that you only break out once in a special occasion, go get that single malt Islay. Break open the good bourbon. Gene, that's what tonight is about. It's about feeling good and celebrating what will be Black Friday for the Gators, but a Garnet and Gold Friday for Florida State.
Well said. This will be remembered as Black Friday for the Gators, who are now 6-6 on the season, losing to Vanderbilt and Florida State back-to-back. So this one, it's got to rub a little salt in the wound that they actually gave them a little hope. They thought we might be able to pull off the upset. End of the day, they still got the big L on their forehead. And they're slinking back to Gainesville. So huge. We get to celebrate tomorrow. I'm still blown away. You got to remember, beginning of the season, over under Vegas 6.5 wins. You're at 9. I mean, Vegas isn't usually that far off. So this team is, and what's crazy, I mean, you're some ridiculous nonsense at NC State being away from 10. So it's unbelievable, the improvement. Just going back to middle of last year, when they started out 0-4, to where you are now, there is nobody, even the most optimistic fan, that could have envisioned this turnaround happening this quickly for this team. I mean, the record since that, what was that game in the second half? Was it Louisville? The second half where they suddenly turned it on?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that Louisville game, from what's happened from that second half till now, is remarkable. I mean, if this was next year, 12-team playoff, Florida State right now is a good shot. They might be in the playoffs in a few weeks. I mean, that's how far this program has come. It's amazing.
Undefeated in the SEC this year, so congratulations.
And we got one more to go. We're going to be 3-0, baby. Whether you're going to the Orange Bowl or the Gator Bowl, you're playing an SEC team. So we got a shot to knock another one of those. So we're just like, they don't want us in the SEC, Tom. They know. They don't want this ass whip, and they're like, we're not letting them in.
Yep. No, don't let that monster, don't let that sleeping giant come into the windfall that is SEC revenue, because look at what we're doing without it. Look at what we're doing. Look at how far we've come without that TV revenue. And in just a couple of short years, I get that this is technically year 3 for Mike Norvell, but the first year is a total wash. You can't even go recruit. They've done a wonderful job in the transfer portal. That's what this season was about. The transfer portal helping put Florida State over the top. Now you've got to fortify the recruits. And look, Gene, if you're a high school recruit who thinks once or twice or enough about Florida State to hop in a car and come up here for a game like this, that is what you're looking for. That is everything especially if you're an offensive player, but that's everything that you want out of an atmosphere. That's everything that you want out of your college experience. The whole town was tearing itself apart at the seams today in all the right ways. It was a ton of fun at Hotel Indigo today. Thank you to everybody who stopped by. We saw those tailgate lots fill up, the little squall line of rain come through, and then finally a little cool breeze. But people were yelling the Warchant, Gene, from recess, from some of the apartment buildings across the street. They were blaring the marching chiefs. What an atmosphere today in Tallahassee. And I'm just glad for the citizens of this town and the students here that was paid off with a victory. You got to pay off that kind of faith and enthusiasm. And they got it tonight.
Because I've seen for so long, you build up that hype, that excitement, and then you got the big letdown. And you thought for a minute maybe, but no, they got what they deserved. Florida State was better team. I mean, it was close, but they were the better team. They got the win. And you know what, Tom? I think this is a segue, because you're talking about all the great fans and everything. why don't we hear from the fans?
Yeah.
We have the ability to do that here at Warchant TV post-game show. We'd love to hear from you folks. We want to hear that emotion. We want to hear the passion, what this win means. What was it? I want to hear, Tom, you weren't there for the whole game. I want to hear what was that like in the fourth quarter. If somebody was there at the game, tell me what was that like in the stadium in the fourth quarter when that thing is on the line, it's going back and forth. Florida's making that last drive. They get that crazy call on fourth down. They're getting down in the red zone at the end. That had to be just freaking nuts. I want to hear what they have to say about that.
And we are in just a moment. So a quick little note here, technical.
Yeah.
If you were watching last week on this particular show, and many of you are brand new to the program, and thank you to the nearly 3,000 of you that are tuned into the Warchant Game Day postgame call-in show presented by Zaxby's. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to Warchant TV. It's absolutely free. Get in on this energy. It's not only tonight. We've got the transfer portal opening in about 10 days. It's going to be
We're
mayhem.
all over that, guys, and there's some good stuff coming in the portal. Trust me.
It's going to be absolute mayhem over the next few weeks. So and into the next year. So be sure and subscribe to Warchant TV. It's absolutely free. So, Gene, there's one extra little wrinkle that we didn't talk about today.
Yeah.
Simply put, if Gene, if you don't mind muting yourself when the caller comes on, it's going to work. It sounds strange, folks, but we've got it fixed. We cannot wait to hear from you. The phone lines are opening now. We will be back in just over 1 minute's time, whatever, however you're going to say it. I'm a mumble mouth, happy Florida State fan who beat the Gators. We'll be back in just over a minute on Warchant Game Day presented by Zaxby's. We'll talk to you on the other side of this break.
Something big, something huge is taking over the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich, it's taking over. And it's only at Zaxby's.
Warchant.com has been the definitive home of all things FSU sports for over 20 years and is now part of On3, the next generation network. Warchant.com has the most experienced, tenured, and largest staff on the Florida State sports beat and now features innovative resources, including an NIL database that projects player value and a truly aggregated composite recruiting ranking system that will set the bar in the industry.
There are no words to describe the perfect pairing of Zaxby's hand-breaded fingers and our 12 delectable sauces. But there is a sound, and that sound is The Zaxby's Chicken Finger Plate with endless sauce abilities. Only at Zaxby's.
What in the world are we going to hear tonight on these phone lines? It's going to be
We're over 1,000 likes, Tommy. We did it.
Hey, all right. Thank you, everybody, for participating
You're
and
the
making sure
best.
that we hit that 1K. If you want to make a bid for 1,500,
Woo!
how about 1501, as in we won up number 15 over in Gainesville, because that's exactly what happened tonight. One extra score for the Noles. I see that they are in the screening room right now. We're about to hear from you, the callers out there. We missed you last week. We can't wait to have you back on this here program. Gene,
lay the ground rules for the callers because it's a little weird system here, but they're going to get their say.
That
I
is-
can't wait. I can't wait. I saw some of our regulars call. I met a lot of cool people at Indigo. A lot of them like, I want to call in. I'm like, call in. We want to hear it.
so
They're
here
calling
it is,
from the stadium. One guy said, I'm waiting at the stadium till I can call in.
folks. Gene can't crosstalk with you. I can. This is something new, Gene, that I found out. I
Yeah.
can go back and forth. It's just something that our stream provider did without telling us. So
Yep.
it's a simple fix. Gene will respond to you.
Yeah,
after
once you're off the line. Yeah.
Yes. And if you want to go straight through, offer your question, and then talk about how great the things that you've seen so far are from the Florida State football team or Warchant or anything in between, go ahead. Feel free to sign off. You and I can talk, caller, but Gene has to wait. He's got to wait. So
Yep.
That's where we are at present. We are going to go for the 31st time on Warchant TV. We go to Long Island, New York, and we're talking to Josh in Long Island. Josh, go ahead. How are you?
Tommy, woo! I'm feeling so good right now. I am. I know this is years coming. Now I will admit, I had 2012 vibes running through the back of my spine when this was happening. But I am so happy that this is like a gift. I mean, I am making my way down to Orlando on Wednesday, and I will smell those ibis feet and that gator bait when I come down there. I cannot wait. Oh my God, this is wonderful. But with that said, I did not forget. I said this weeks ago, Tom. Adam Fuller against teams that he played previously that lit him up always gets lit up again. And I just want to know why. Whether it was Louisville, Wake Forest, this game. I love the guy's interviews. He seems like he's down to earth. But I just want to know, why does it seem like my man gets lit up year after year? I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but if we're going to take the next step, that is something that needs to be asked and answered. But anyway, it's been a wonderful year. You guys are great. I love Warchant, and I cannot wait for the bowl game. I want Bama. I don't care. I want Bama. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, thank you, Josh. We appreciate you as well. And that's an outstanding call to get us off and running, Gene.
Love the emotion, Josh. Yeah, it was great.
And you're not done yet, Josh. We're going to have a post-game show for the bowl game. So you better call in then, too, for the 32nd time on Warchant TV. So, Gene, I'll start with a quick answer here on Adam Fuller. Is he perfect? No. But Florida controlled the line of scrimmage tonight.
Yeah,
they controlled the line of
scrimmage. So much you can do.
You had Fabian Love and Robert Cooper getting pushed back into the linebackers. You had the linebackers getting bowled over. I mean, what I thought was interesting was in the beginning of this game, first quarter, I don't think Florida thought it could run up the middle of the field in between the tackles. I don't think they thought they could do it, because think about all these little wrinkles they had, little, a backside run and pitch. You've got runs to the outside that are designed. You've got deep shots on a play action. But then after those things were successful, they started to run the ball and they realized, oh, we could just do this every play if we wanted to do. So it's really hard if you're a defensive coordinator in this position where you've got a quarterback who won't go down.
Yeah.
Even though he's 5 for 15, he's hit on some big plays, and that's your fault. Those are coverage busts. But on first and second down, they don't have to worry about him throwing, Gene, because they're just running over the Noles defensive front most every play.
And he did dial up a blitz there at the end. I mean, he did a couple things on that last drive that I liked a lot. And really, he stopped them twice, if not for a ridiculous bad call by the officials. He stopped a team with a really dynamic quarterback twice on that last series. Got to get some props for that. I mean, I get it. I mean, there's still, I mean, he going into this game, FSU had the 11th ranked defense. When they started a couple of years ago, they were 106th. They were getting, as Tom pointed out, they were getting beat at the line of scrimmage for the most part. There's only so much a coordinator can do in that situation. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's more of they need to upgrade some talent at maybe a couple positions more than anything else in games like this. I'm not saying it was very disappointing what we saw defensively, but they can have bad days too. And the defense didn't play well today. Thank goodness Jordan Travis and the offense did play extremely well.
Yeah, the adjustments coming out of half were that they were going to have to blitz him. They didn't think that they had to blitz Anthony Richardson. They did. That's how they got off the field in several instances, was just that overload stuff. There was one, though, in particular where they didn't get home. There's a deep shot, and I think Greedy Vance got away with a tug, but that's what the officials were allowing to happen all night long until the 4th and forever on that last drive, which is something that Gene, I think, would have gone on a 6-minute straight rant if that had proved to be the difference in the football game. To Screener Terry out there, the lines are open if you want to grab some people and name them, but I don't need a call screener to talk to this particular person, because for the 111th time on Warchant TV's many offerings, we now go to the 757, and we are talking to Gator Kirk. Gator Kirk, hit us with what you got after a Noles victory over the Gators. Nope. We lost Gator. No, Gene, this is not the technical issue. We got him back. Here comes Gator Kirk. Gator Kirk, hit us. Go for it.
Oh!
That's what I'm talking about. He broke the sound barrier. Go for it, Gator.
Yeah, I do it all the time. So, I'm glad that we've won. I'm not real impressed with our defense tonight on certain plays and things like that, but I'm not sure. How do you guys feel about our defense overall?
All right. Gene, sounds like Gator has enjoyed every bit of the 4 hours
Yes.
of the game, so I'm not going there tonight. I respect you. I love you, Gator. I'm celebrating the victory tonight. They need better players. I'll leave it at that. I think Gene hit the nail on the head at the last particular point that he made, which was you got to get some better players in here.
You got some good players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's – I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought they were farther along at the line of scrimmage. And tonight proved that they still have some work to do to control the line of scrimmage.
I kind of wonder about this. It was interesting. I was thinking about that. I don't want to go too down this path. Like you said, this is a big win for Florida State. We want to dwell on a negative. But I wondered about this. So when they went, remember during that streak, there you go, Natty Light. You're hydrating, Tom.
I am.
With that. So when they went on that streak, when they lost the games, and remember the biggest problem they had, they were just being gutted. And we all said, Fabian Lovett's out. Robert Cooper's hurt. Verse was hurt. So that's what it is all attributed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they went on the last 4-game winning streak, we all go, oh, the problem's solved. Well, I wondered, part of my mind is like part of that thing, because they got so far ahead in these games, the teams are like, okay, we can't be trying to gut it down the middle and run between the tackles all the time. We're down 17-0 or whatever it is early in the game, where I think Florida was in this game the whole time, so they could run the football. I'm not sure those problems are really solved by just a couple players coming back. I still think they're a little weak in terms of that run defense. Now, granted, there were a couple breakdowns in the secondary earlier, but that happens. You see it in the NFL. It happens sometimes. Yep. That's part of the game. I think the defense has been pretty good on the whole, but I think the run defense has been shaky all season. It's not like Fabian Lovett is suddenly back and it goes from being horrible to being great. It was just kind of below average, mediocre tonight.
Yeah, agreed. But you scored more than they did, so screw them. Screw the Gators. There it is. 9-3 are the Noles. We now go to the 912. If your number starts with 660-912, talk to us. Who is this on Warchant Postgame Show?
Yo, this is 100 Proof Football.
Oh, 100 Proof Football. What's going on?
Yo, from Wyoming, what's going on in the snow, baby? Hey, we state champions, are we not?
That's correct. They know that even where you are, man. In all parts of the country, they know now who the state champs in Florida are.
Hey, I'm down with it. I know there's a lot of Debbie Downers tonight. It's weird to be state champions and hear so many people drunk and down, but I'm drunk and crunk, man. I've been drinking. I woke up with a beer for breakfast. And we keeping it going because that's how we do. Until next year, we have 365 days to revel in being state champions and let the Gators know that we rule the state, baby. They all got to come and bring their recruits to our stadium and see what we do and how we do it, man. Now, there was a few things like everybody else is talking about that people are upset about. My main thing is this, like, check me out. I love what Norvell is doing. If you heard me last time, I'm a big Norvell guy. I believe in the guy. But what is this 4th and 12 shit in the fourth quarter? In the first quarter, going on court instead of kicking the field goal. I get it. Fitzgerald missed the field goal, but it's 4th and 12, not 4th and 2. This is not Madden. Like, either punt them deep or whatever, but they got a touchdown off that drive. Like, there's a few things that Norvell's doing that's driving me crazy. Because I feel like we have the belief and the buy-in of a championship caliber team. So there's a few things the coaches need to get out their system, put the Xbox controller down, quit playing Madden, and understand that you got to play field position, okay? This run defense that everybody thought was amazing, hey, we've been having the people that said we had an easy schedule the last 4 weeks. You understand why we said that? Because all of a sudden, we're not controlling the line of scrimmage. Like y'all said with the last caller, they're pushing the line and gashing us 5 yards to play with another ETN. Like you said, Gene, one more ETN we got to deal with, okay? But, look, We beat the Gators. I broke out the Weller 107 tonight. We're doing it big. The special bourbon. We are state champs. Let's revel in it, okay? Let's let Norvell and Adam Fuller and company learn from the experience and get some new recruits. I hope the recruits saw what they needed to see, saw the atmosphere, was part of the war chant, and want to be a part of Garnet and Gold Nation and taking this thing to the next level. But, hey, everybody that thinks we should be in the SEC, y'all, we saw what happened when we played an SEC team. The stats weren't the same this week as they were the last 4 weeks. So we got to step it up. We got to get these recruits in. Hey, Warchant is only $10 right now. That's fine. But guess what? NIL, put $20 in that. Hey, that's not involved with the school. But, hey, let's put some money in NIL. We got to get these players in because we got the coaches. We need the talent. It's the Jimmys and Joes, not just the X's and O's. God bless all y'all. God bless Warchant State Champion. Let's go.
Oh.
Woo!
Oh, my goodness.
Boom.
Boom.
Now my new favorite color.
Yeah, that.
Oh, 100 proof is, one of my spirit animal. What a fantastic call. Oh, my gosh, 100 proof. Drunk and crunk, man. We need to get T-shirts made for that.
Yes,
I was at the Florida game, and I was drunk and crunk. Love it.
Gene, it'll sound like that we've hired somebody from the opposing fan base, but we need 100 Proof Football to do a hype video for us for the LSU game in Orlando. It'll sound like we got somebody from the Bayou to help us out, but he just preaches, and
I love it.
I listen to that man. That man is testifying, and I am enjoying a nice little natty.
Here's the 100 proof. I don't have the 100 proof, but
yeah, this is like 10 proof, but we'll get there. We'll get there. 100
10 proof. Mick, what are you drinking? Natty Light?
Natty. Yeah. So he also said in one of his contributions and tips to Warchant that JT, Jordan Travis, is 100 proof certified as a high school. So there you go. 100 proof football, ladies and gentlemen. Each one of his 3 calls have been – there he is, J-Trav, 100 proof Heisman. Call back. You can call back in 10 minutes if you want 100 proof.
Yeah, we love 100 proof.
You got some more thoughts? Go for it. We've got a few more people that are coming up in just a moment. I see them in the screening room. We got so many others to thank. Ben, go ahead and let's scroll through some of the contributions here. Yeah, that's right. Drunk and crunk with the Warchant GameDay logo. Henry Washington reminds me of the 2010 Jimbo first year. This year will be the turning point. That was 31-7. The Noles fans were just celebrating a coronation in the fourth quarter. Today, our hearts were in our throats. Our stomachs were up there too. But Florida State comes out with a win.
Kobe, my goodness.
Goodness gracious, Kobe. If you've got a question, just, put asterisks and say, Ben, I got a question over here, and he'll find it. Thank you so much, Kobe. That is unbelievably generous of you. Wow. Ray K. Thank you, Ray K. We appreciate you very, very much. And John Kynes. What's going on, John? My heart and my liver have suffered.
My liver's going to suffer tomorrow at Corner Pocket. So
I'm just kicking it off with the keg stand. Then we'll ease on into that 3:30, 7 o'clock window. Mark McEwen, this game had the atmosphere of Notre Dame last year in Oklahoma 2011. Okay, so that had to have been in the second half too. That fourth quarter was unbelievable to watch on television. I couldn't imagine, Mark. Thank you very much. Florida man in Texas. Keg stands at the CP, baby. Keep the party and post game going. We'll be sitting in traffic for 2 hours listening. Well, thank you, Florida man in Texas. Hopefully the traffic isn't that bad. It was rotten getting in. Hopefully it's a little bit better getting out. Corey's gallbladder. Phew. A win is a win, gang. Even better when we get 1 versus UF. State champs. Hope to see you all at the Bulls in the Gator Bowl. I'll be in section.
I can predict if we are in the Gator Bowl, as seems pretty likely, that Warchant will have some kind of event going on in Jacksonville. I think there's a good chance of that.
Robert Madden. All right. SEC
yes, they do. We can drink to that.
I think, the pass interference, I think is what he's saying, was ridiculous.
Yep.
Henry Washington with a sticker. I hope it's a cool sticker. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Kevin, let's go Noles. We love you out there from El Paso.
Home of the Sun Bowl.
There we go. And Jeremy is the final one.
Jeremy.
Back to that. And Jeremy, we love you very much. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you since the spring game, I think, a couple of years back. Suck it, Gators, he says. #drunk and fabulous. Aren't we all going to be either today or tomorrow? That's the beauty of playing a Friday night football game. You get a little extra time to hang out with your friends, or if you're here in town, stick around an extra day. Come out to the Corner Pocket tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. We now go to Tallahassee, and we go to a gentleman by the name of Tom. What an excellent name, Tom, in Tallahassee. Go ahead and welcome to the Warchant GameDay postgame show.
Hey, I appreciate it, Tom, and I agree. Great name. And hey, Gene, love you guys. All I got to say is this. Suck it, Lizards, and suck it, Death Row Billy. We are state champs, baby. Woo! And, to follow up on that, I just got a couple things, and then I'll get off and let other callers come in. But, my God, I know offensive lines hold on every single play just about, but when somebody has their hand on top of somebody's shoulder pads and you can see jersey coming through the fingers, that's a little bit of a hold. And, the play when they finally called the holding on Florida, it took it because Richardson's sitting there scrambling out to his left, and the offensive lineman couldn't see what he's doing. I mean, it was that obvious. But my God, every single play. And finally, one last thing, and then I'll hang up and listen to you guys. Is every single quarterback that plays for the University of Florida a little biatch? I had to watch those Tim Tebow's "I Promise" commercials, as the game was going on. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
But yeah. And then you had Anthony Richardson in the first quarter taunting our fans. Every single one of their quarterbacks is a little bitch. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hang up. Great show. Go Noles.
All right, we appreciate you, Tom. Thank you very much for the call. Yeah, I saw that commercial with Tebow. They're doing. You will never.
I put that in my notes. What the hell? We're seeing that. I watched the first couple of quarters with friends of mine. They're like, really, a Tim Tebow commercial during this? Where's the Charlie Ward commercial?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, why are we doing that? That's just, I don't know. Bad move, ABC or whoever put that on. That's just,
you will never see, Gene. You will never see another team with a tight end who killed somebody. Yeah, they came together like one big family under Urban Meyer. I believe that. There's a bridge for sale in Arizona. I'm sure they did. Well, thank you very much, Tom, for the call. We appreciate that. And Richardson had his moments where you didn't like him, but then he did
that first touchdown. He went right down. He started doing the chop it. And I was like, all right, he is a little B, as Tom said. I had more of a problem with Pearsall. Pearsall was a whiny little B to me, and I have a bigger problem with that. Richardson's getting caught up in the emotion of the game, doing that. I kind of get the other guy's just whiny. I don't like that in an athlete, man. You're not interfered on every play. Stop complaining.
Yeah, the thing with Richardson is Pearsall, you're correct, Gene. I agree. And your earlier description, sure, I agree with that too. But when Richardson can drive like 6-year defenders back 5 yards, all right.
You're a man.
Yeah, that is a grown ass man. I think he wants another crack at it for the 112th time in Warchant GameDay postgame call-in show history. Gator Kirk,
oh my,
we love you. We love you. It's going to be a tight window here because I think you've been enjoying yourself, and we appreciate that. You should enjoy yourself in the Warchant postgame show. But what you got? Come on, bring us some more.
What's up, guys? I felt disrespected in the chat there. So, how important is it for us to get the 15 practices for the bowl game?
All right. That is a good and succinct question, and we love you, Gator Kirk. We can't wait to hear from you for the 113th time. Gene, how important are those 15 practices?
Wow, we haven't had, I mean, it's weird. You're right. We get all these extra practices. I forgot about that. That's right. It's been such a long time since we've gone to a bowl game. Yes, it is. Obviously, some of these young guys, because you're going to lose, some of these guys, the NFL. Eventually, even with COVID, some guys have to graduate. I mean, at some point, their eligibility does run out. So, yeah, you got some of the young guys, some of the young linemen get more time in there. They're going to have to play more, some of those guys in the secondary. I mean, it's extra practices for these guys. I mean, we start to see some more of the Portiers, the McLean, some of these young wide receivers that we're starting to see emerge. You're going to have to step up and be bigger for FSU next year. That's huge to get those guys. So, no, it's obviously helpful. The more practice, the better. To me, it's going to be – there's that. And I think just having – to me, the bigger thing is the momentum of having this going into the offseason with the portal and recruiting. And the NIL has been pointed out by – 100 Proof and others that, fans, boosters that have a lot of money are more apt to give the NIL and the boosters when you're state champs and you beat the hell out of your two biggest rivals.
Yuckmouth says, way to respond, Gator Kirk. Norvell would be proud of the response.
Yes,
You know,
he came through.
When you don't go to a bowl for 4 or 5 seasons, not counting COVID, it's nice to get back in that routine. And I'm not even kidding. Like, it sounds basic, but going and playing in a neutral site game, we did it against LSU, but doing that after the season, it's got its own weird little idiosyncrasies. And the goal around here is to be playing in games in December and January that mean a whole lot. So I'd prefer that Florida State not play at a high-stakes game without having gone through it once or twice beforehand. And that's what this is about, playing an SEC team in either the Gator Bowl or the Orange Bowl and having a crack at going through something they haven't done. None of the kids on this team, except for
maybe 10 wins, Tom. That's something.
Right. 10, and that's exactly what happened. I saw somebody liken it to the 2010 Jimbo season. That's what that season was. They were 9-3 heading into Atlanta to play South Carolina in the Peach Bowl, and they got their 10th win. And that was something that later on would pay dividends for a couple of those guys who were younger on that squad. And it also proved to the recruiting world that we were for real, and it wasn't just that we caught Florida when they were down. We could beat another really good SEC East team. So,
and Greg Reed could bitch slap the hell out of, was it Lattimore who we beat on that opening hit?
Marcus Lattimore. That game was wild. That was a really fun game to watch. Everything, including that hit. You had Ponder had to come out of the game with a concussion.
Yeah, that's right.
He had Lonnie wide open on a 4th down. He ends up spiking the ball because of the effects of the hit to the head, which was crazy. And then EJ comes in, makes some big plays for the Noles. That's what we're about to take in, folks. Some really cool stuff in a bowl game against a team you've heard of, not out in Shreveport against Southern Miss. So here we go, everybody. We now turn to our friend, the Ohana, our family, Warchant TV out in Hawaii. It's Ralph Spartan Nole 71. Welcome to the program, Ralph. How are you after a giant-ass victory over the Gators?
Well, I'm about 7 sheets into the Waikiki win, but I'm going to behave myself, I promise.
Behave however you like, Ralph. We're 9-3. Go ahead.
First of all, last week, the phone call didn't work. What I was trying to convey was a congratulations to Norvell and everybody for hitting 500. Obviously, we're 1 above that now. We're on the climb. What I want to say tonight is at halftime, there was a room full of us Seminole fans down in Waikiki. Hawaii Noles says aloha to everyone out there, by the way. We're watching the game. Things, we're down by 3, missed the field goal. I went on tribal council. A lot of negativity. So for everybody out there dumping on this team at halftime, can we please finally stop?
All right.
This team is climbing and they're winning. Get behind this team or get the hell out.
There it is. All right. Ralph, we love you, baby. Can't wait to see you stateside next year.
We'll be there for LSU in Orlando. Can't wait for the meet and greet. I love all of you. Let's go, Noles. Get behind this team, damn it.
There you go. I love it. That is Spartan Nole on the boards here at Warchant, and his name is Ralph. And you couldn't find much nicer of a gentleman at Warchant events, and we look forward to seeing him in Orlando, Gene. He's had enough of your nonsense if you are not on board with Mike Norvell and where this program is going. And Tommy Young likes what Spartan Nole has.
We all like it. Yeah, Spartan's the man. We love you, Ralph. Look forward to seeing you. That's going to be, we talk about, oh my gosh, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but man, the hype for that LSU game in Orlando next year is going to be off the hook. That's going to be a lot of fun. But I know Ralph sees the tribal council a lot. It's pretty much every game. In 2013, there were games, if we didn't jump out to a 14-0 lead in the first 5 minutes, people are complaining on there. They're getting to fire coaches, blah, 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 blah. It's a knee-jerk reactionary thing, and I get it. Some people just like to vent and do that stuff. It is what it is. But no, you would think at this point, what Florida State's been able to accomplish the last year is freaking remarkable. You should get behind this coaching staff of this team because it's incredible. And they're doing it with class. You got guys, they pointed out in the broadcast, I don't know if you heard this, but they said they had one of the best all-time grades this team has ever had under Mike Norvell, because it wasn't that long ago when Jimbo tried to get Florida State ineligible for all the APR nonsense, because that was one of the many idiotic things he did. But the fact that they've turned it around with Taggart, you don't hear about guys getting in trouble off the field anymore. I mean, it's everything. It's the wins and losses we love. That's primary. I get it. But these are class guys. They're doing it right. They're doing well in the classroom. It's a team you can be proud of and guys you can like and cheer for.
Yeah, our APR was so bad. I think Jimbo drew the R backwards. It's just
That's pretty good.
It was rough, but usually when you hear about things like that, Gene, with academics and off the field, you're going 3-9, not 9-3.
But we're winning and you're doing those things.
Both can be done at the same time. I mean, Dylan Gibbons had said this week that $450,000 has been raised.
That's awesome.
And Big Heart.
And he'd be trying to do stuff and pocketing that money, but he puts those efforts towards. I mean, unreal.
Jeffrey Batts, thank you for the contribution. I just love saying your name. Jay Batts. There we go. Next up on the Warchant GameDay postgame call-in show, where there's nearly 2,500 of you right now. Make sure to hit the like underneath this video. Let's get up to 1,500 if you would, please. We are going to Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are talking to Tony. Tony in Charlotte. Go ahead. Welcome to the postgame show. Welcome to 9-3. Go ahead.
Yo, going on. First off, go Noles. I'm glad we got the win, 9-3. I was actually one game off before the start of this season. I said we were going to go 8-4, but I'll take 9-3 for the regular season. I feel like the margin of victory should have been wider. You know, we had a lot of self-inflicted mistakes, unnecessary penalties. But all in all, I'm impressed with the win. We capped it off with the state championship, undefeated in SEC play. I think Gene mentioned that earlier. So I think Mike Norvell got us on his leadership, his wisdom, his discipline, his vision. I think he got us on the right track. So next year should be our year. So I'm excited for where we at, man.
Well, a lot of people share your sentiment tonight, Tony. Is there something you want to talk about in the pass game as well?
Yeah, I didn't understand where so for instance, the drive right before the half where we had an opportunity to score, I think it was like maybe a minute left. We threw the ball 3 straight times. I ain't understand that. We went 3 and out and basically just threw that drive away or handed them the ball back. And there was another drive in the second half that was exactly like that. I ain't understand that. I feel like we should have at least attempted to run the ball to kind of put us in a manageable situation on third down. But other than that, and them self-inflicted mistakes, But what was your take on that? I don't know if you remember those drives, though.
I do. And thank you, Tony. We appreciate the call. Hope you call back. I'll loop in Gene now. Gene, I think the hard part here was this is the first time for this coaching staff in over a month in which they were challenged to get off of their usual routine and their usual bread and butter plays.
Yeah.
There was a lot of running in this football game on other drives, not these 3 and outs that Tony's talking about, in which the first down, run up the middle or run an attempted counter, gain of 1. Second down, run again, gain of 1 or 2. You're in 3rd and 7. There was a lot of that tonight. The Florida trenches were pretty good on both sides of the ball. Certainly the most challenging thing that Florida State has seen since Clemson. And you might even argue it was more challenging than what they saw against Clemson when you're talking about traditional runs being successful. The Noles were able to hit traditional runs against the Tigers. Not so much tonight against the Gators. There were explosive plays, yes. Jordan Travis scrambles, yes. But they weren't able to establish it on first down, gaining 4 and 5 at a time, the way they've been able to, John, just about everybody this year, Gene.
Yeah, it was weird, the running game, because you'd see Florida would stop Florida State. It was either like you get 1 yard, no yards, 2 yards, or you get 17 yards. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. I get it, but you could see the passing game was working. So I understood the mentality. Maybe Florida was low. I haven't looked at the all-22 or to see maybe, Tom, if they were stacking the box. Yeah. But it seemed like the passing game was much more effective, or Jordan Travis running around, obviously making plays. But it was so unpredictable when they were going to bust off a long running play. So that's the thing. The fear is you're trying to run a bunch, and all of a sudden you're behind the sticks. You're dealing with a 3rd and 8 versus, every time you throw the football, it seems like it's a long play. And Florida was obviously defensively bringing their players up. I don't know where their safeties were. You saw play after play after play where guys are open way downfield. I mean, the one we talked about with Toafili is another example there. Well, you could have tried to do a short route and maybe do something to try to pick it up. But when you got a guy running down the middle of the field wide open for a long touchdown, you go for it.
Yeah, it's hard, Gene. Sometimes you see mirages, and then you rewatch the game and go, "Oh, that wasn't the way it was at all." But here's what at live speed, my eye was telling me. We had a lot of formations that were bunched closer to the line of scrimmage, so Florida could have extra bodies come up closer to the ball because we had tight ends around the line of scrimmage or receivers that were stacked in kind of tight. So they're already around there. So you have a lot of traffic in that area. Sometimes they'd have everything blocked up and walled off to the perimeter for an outside run, but they lose somebody in the middle. Somebody between the tackles can shoot a gap, and then you're in trouble there. And other times they just got beat straight up. Or
Is having a 400-plus pound guy in the middle kind of like, I mean, you don't usually go against that either. I mean, it's a different dynamic you have to deal with.
It is. Gilbert Brown is about the only name that I can recall in my lifetime that was that big and consistently could play in the interior. That was for the Green Bay Packers all those years ago. But yeah, it was a little bit different looking. And the one thing I'd question, at least in live speed, is why was there a lot of stuff around the line of scrimmage formationally to allow Florida to sell out and come in closer to the ball? Because that's what they wanted to do anyway. I thought, Gene, from the get-go that this would be a quick passing game because Florida plays off coverage a lot on the outsides. They didn't do that as much tonight either. Florida had some tricks in there, some tendency breakers on both sides of the ball for the Noles. They were clearly game planning for this game for a while. You know that because they lost to Vandy, and then also tonight, after watching them play Tennessee and Georgia and some other games, LSU, Florida did some things tonight that were completely against what the trend said they were going to do. They cared a lot about this game. They felt like they had a good game plan, and they had a good one. It just wasn't good enough, Gene.
I thought about that time when they lost to Vandy. I'm like, I wonder if they were basically one of those games. And you know how that is a lot of times. You think you got to win. You're saving your stuff. You're prepping for the game, one game ahead, thinking we can just kind of sleepwalk, be vanilla in this game. Yep. And we'll save our good stuff for the next game. You almost think they put all their things into one kettle to try to we want to win that game. At the end of the year, we're beating a rival. It'll help recruiting, all that kind of stuff. They try to go for it. Obviously, it backfired. They almost pulled it off. Well, but no, it did seem, you're right. It seemed definitely different in the secondary how they were handling this game.
And think about it this way too. So Jordan threw for 270 yards. You've got a Johnny drop in the end zone, right? You've got the miss on Toafili. You've got another miss on Johnny who released and was wide open down the sideline, and it was a little bit behind him. He could have caught it, but that's got to be a walk-in touchdown. So there's any number of yards there, Gene, probably 100 and change on 3 throws that are wide open because you did run the ball and smack it into the line of scrimmage over and over. Think about that short drive after Micah Pittman gets hit late out of bounds. That first play is a play action to Cam McDonald. Wide the hell open because they're selling out to stop the run. And then they've got...
Oh, that was a beautiful play because what I loved about it, Tom? And you being an FSU fan, how many times has FSU been burned on that play?
Yes.
Through the history of Florida State, the little tight end drag, and to see it work on somebody else is a thing of beauty.
It was. So, I mean, there were some things. If Jordan hits on a couple of throws or the receivers catch some passes, I mean, he probably has 350, 400 yards passing tonight because there were certainly that many yards on the field. I was okay with that part of it.
I mean, you scored 45 points. I mean, at the end of the day, we can complain, we can nitpick about drops, about a few play calls here and there, but man, you score 45 points, you better win the freaking game.
45 points with a 4th and 12 not converted, a missed field goal, and a couple of touchdowns that you didn't convert on.
Yeah.
So you could have dropped 60 on them, but 45 was enough, and that's all we asked for was a win tonight, and we got it. We now go back to Virginia Beach. We're talking to the 757 Noles. 757 Noles in Virginia Beach. First of all, apologies, 757. That was me who hung up on you by accident earlier. Welcome to the program. Give us your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, so thanks for I had to call. So my thoughts were Travis. I mean, Travis carried us, and I listened to pregame. Yeah, this was Gators' defensive line and offensive line were the toughest that we faced in a month.
Yep.
And it was a little scary there for a while, but you know what? They just kept going. Kudos to Travis. Jordan Travis, man, he carried us, and I gotta give a call to Gene. Gene Williams. I've built some companies before, but he built this company, Gene Williams, Warchant.com. It's been awesome what he's gone through and built this company, and I love it. And just go Noles. It's been awesome, and exceeded our expectations. and I'm just excited.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of folks who are just a little fired up here, either in the chat or on the phone line 7570. Thank you for the call. There's no doubt, Gene, that, and again, in the trenches, I don't know that Florida State has lost the trenches as much as they did in this game all season long. And that doesn't mean that they lost it the entirety. I'm just saying, if you've got a back and forth, a tug of war, Florida won a lot of plays in this game at the line of scrimmage. I don't think Clemson won as many as Florida tonight. It was very impressive. The Gators were here to play. They just weren't good enough.
Well, especially their offensive line. I think Clemson, we saw a really stout defensive line.
Yeah.
Florida State was still able to operate and have some success there. But you're right. 757 is right on both sides of the line. It was a dogfight. It was really difficult. Like we talked about before, the running plays, it was difficult. You could not get anything between the tackles. It seemed like, unless there was just you sprung a counter or something happened in there, traditional runs were not happening there. So, yeah, it's tough, and that's one of the things I talk about when I say the personnel needs to be upgraded. I think that's one of the biggest places where I think you can do it on both lines is to get bigger, stronger guys to fill out that place. It's gotten dramatically better. It went from the worst offensive line 2 years ago to, it's probably an average offensive line. Let's be realistic about it. I think a lot of the scoring is because of Jordan, because of the scheme, and just guys playing at a high level. I think they're getting the most out of what they have. But the line it's good, and Alex Atkins deserves a ton of praise for getting the most out of what he has, but it's not elite. And 757, thank you for the kind words. And it's been a great ride for Warchant. One of the reasons why guys like this, man, you just hire good people and let them do their thing. And good things will happen from that. So, yeah, we appreciate it. And thanks for calling in.
Well, let me pass the hot potato around because you get young kids like Ben who do a bang-up job. I see Ben also has some did you find some Florida Gator stuff that you can show the world here a little bit, Ben? I think you did. Ben is always good in the research department. There we go. There's I remember that. That was an opening weekend game. There you go. Yeah, there was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You thought you had Jordan Travis, didn't you? You thought you had him in the backfield. Yeah.
The stork. Love it. Sit down.
Stork. That was 13, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then there's
DeMarcus.
Yeah. What a night that was. That was 6 years ago under the lights here in Tallahassee. What a game he had. That was Dalvin Cook and DeMarcus Walker. When someone yells chomp, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. There you go, Ben. There you go. Very nice representation.
Well done, Ben.
Also, a little one of these. I'll give you this. That's for you, Billy.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go. We had just a little bit more offense than you did. We now go out to the West Coast. We're going to be talking to a new friend. Oh, actually, this is your third call, Jay, in San Francisco. Out to the West Coast we go. Jay in San Francisco. Welcome to the Warchant Postgame Show. You're talking to Gene and Tom. Go ahead on a victory Friday night for the Noles.
Hey, this is Jay. I hope, am I catching you guys? Because I just dropped you off.
Nope.
I'm going to keep talking real quick.
Keep going.
All right, sweet. First comment, I agree with you, Tom. Very, concerned about the D-line and linebackers. We totally let them shred us at least 60% of the time. But whatever, the Gators. Here's my positive comments. I think without the drops, Jordan Travis had the best game since I remember watching FSU play since 1987 in the history of an FSU QB. That scramble play he had, which was either down at the one or a touchdown, was the most athletic play I've seen by an FSU QB ever. Maybe when Ward jumped over the Virginia DBs for a touchdown. Maybe that beats it. But besides that, that was the best touchdown or scramble or athletic play by an FSU QB ever. And the silver lining is Wilson had like 4 to 5 potential drops, and I think we just got him back next year. So I was thinking in the third quarter, let's just go to McLean. But I think we just made our 2023 team that much better. So we beat the Gators. This is awesome. Thanks for an awesome year, Warchant, and thanks for taking my call.
You're the best, Jay. Thank you so much. That was a great call, and we're not done yet. We got another game, Jay. So feel free to call in for the post-game show after the bowl. You know, Gene, I'm glad he brought up Malik McLean because Malik has been on a tear of late. You don't ever want to use the B word when you're talking about a second-year football player. You got to be patient with a lot of these guys. They're going to develop. They're going to come around and be a better version of themselves by the time they're 21 and 22 years old. But Malik McClain had shown potential, and then there was a valley, and then potential, and then a valley. Well, the catch he made last week in the back of the end zone where he had to adjust was outstanding. The stiff arm against Syracuse.
The stiff arm, that to me, that's one of the plays of the year. I love that.
And then this catch in traffic down the seams, Gene, when I was talking about play action setting things up over the top, I forgot to mention that play. That's a big play in the ball game because it was as Florida State's offense was starting to deliver haymaker after haymaker. They had tied the ball game at 24, but were you going to follow it up after the defense got you some stops? They did to get the lead to 38-24. Malik McClain was wide open because they were running the ball right into the middle of the line, setting up a deep shot. And that was, I think, arguably Jordan's best throw of the night was that one to Malik.
It's so much, and thank you so much for the call, Jade. I mean, I love the positivity and focusing on Jordan Travis. Amazing night. I mean, it's a shame the national people aren't on him like they should be, because he's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in college football right now. It's freaking amazing what he's doing out there. In good memory on that Virginia game, I was there for that one. Tom, you're a little young. For that Virginia game when Charlie Ward hurdled the Virginia defender into the end zone. That was something, but that was his Heisman year. That was an incredible play. So I appreciate Jay bringing up a fond memory that I had of that season and that moment. Yeah, I mean, Florida State's very lucky to have Jordan Travis, and we hope. So I know a lot of people in chat have asked. I think there's a decent chance he's back next year. And Johnny Wilson, I think he really should be back next year. I think he needs another year in college to really polish his game before the league. So, if you hit a couple guys in the portal, this rise could continue in 2023.
Yeah, before this game, Gene, it sounded like folks who were connected were confident that Jordan would be returning for the next season. We all know what that means, that there's an NIL price for retention. I think that price just went up a little bit after tonight. I think it did, and that's fair. That's totally fair.
Well, you can see what his NIL value is, because the nice thing about On3 is they have an AI that tracks every player's NIL value. You can go right to our database right here at warchant.com. Just go look up the player and click on the NIL tab, and you'll see. And what I like, Tom, is there's a little graph, and you'll see after a player has a good game, it goes up a little bit. So I'm wondering. This game, Travis says, I wonder, did he make 50,000, 100,000, 200,000? How much more is he worth after this game? So it's fun to track that stuff.
Oh, I think just that one play avoiding 4 sacks. Because the fourth one he avoids, Gene, it almost looked like a Dalvin run because the guy bounces off of him. The first 3 of them were elusiveness. Then one was kind of strength. I was like, all right, Jordan.
Because he's not a big guy. That's the thing. This is not – no. That to me looked like, and he's not as big or strong, but it looked like, one of the elite what's his name? The Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Looked like a prototypical Lamar Jackson play, who's the most elusive quarterback maybe in history of college in the NFL, but it looked like that. I mean, he just was untackleable on that play.
We are so thankful and hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving for the 2,000 plus of you that are with us right now on Warchant Game Day presented by Zaxby's. Be sure and hit the like button underneath this video. Subscribe to Warchant TV. It's absolutely free. So we might have stolen your thunder down in Miami, Florida, our next caller. In my notes, it says that you want to talk about the chance of Jordan Travis returning next year. So, Kobe, we'll give you a little bit of leeway here. Do you have anything else you want to ask, or do you want to weigh in with your thoughts about Jordan Travis returning? Welcome to the program, Kobe.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for all you do. And I'm really happy with the win today. Go Noles.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say, my question was, what are the odds Jordan Travis comes back next year? But if he doesn't, what do the Noles look like?
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you, Kobe. We appreciate it. I'm going to start as I loop Gene back into the conversation. I'm going to say 80-20. He's back. I'm going to go on record saying I think there's a really good chance he comes back. Gene, everybody wants to know more what you think because you're dialed into these matters more intimately, I think, than most people who cover Florida State athletics.
I think you're in the right. I'd say 70 to 80%. I mean, it's trending in the right way. Like I said, it's all signs point to him returning. I wonder still, because you have that ability to go to the NFL advisory committee and see what you're going to be. And he should do that. It's the right thing to do, just to see. You never know, unless something surprising comes back from that he's a lot higher than we think he's going to be.
Yep.
There's every reason to come back. He's going to get a good NIL deal. He's going to be able to put some money in the bank. He loves it. You can see him out there. You can see the passion. He loves his teammates. He loves the fan. He loves Florida State. He's completely bought into the system. It makes sense for him to come back, put some more money in the bank, and in 2024 he can try out for the NFL. Then it doesn't really make a difference staying another year, except he's got money in the bank. If he goes out now and doesn't make it, he's out all that money. So, and I think he's got a really good support system around here. Obviously, Devin is a big influence on him, and I think Devin is going to advise him correctly. I really think there's a really good chance he'll be back.
Before we get to our next caller, a word from our friends at Zaxby's. It seems like everyone's got a chicken sandwich these days. Ain't that the truth? So how do you know which one to try? Luckily, one sandwich towers above all the others in size and in deliciousness. That's Zaxby's signature sandwich. It's an extra large hand-breaded filet and 3 thick-cut pickle chips on a split-top bun. And it comes with your choice of Zax sauce or spicy Zax sauce. It's big, it's delicious, and it's only at your neighborhood Tallahassee Zaxby's, your Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Golden Chief booster for 17 years. Go Noles. It's been a pleasure to be hosting Zaxby's Warchant GameDay for the 12th time this year, and we look forward to a postseason show here soon as well. We now go to Denver. We're going to talk to Vincent in Denver. Vincent, back on the program for the first time in nearly 2 months. Welcome in, Vincent. Go ahead. You're on with Gene Williams and Tom.
Gene and Tom, thank you so much. I'm just really curious here. What do you guys feel like were the halftime adjustments, or at least maybe the successful halftime adjustments that we ended up making to end up, pulling this game out? Because I missed the first half. I was driving into the game. So by the time I got in, it was, 24-21. And so I guess I got to find a way to catch the first half of the game. But just kind of curious what you guys thought were the difference makers, post halftime for what we did end up helping us to pull this one off.
Appreciate the call, Vincent. Thank you very much. Gene,
It was blitzing more, right? That was pretty much it that I saw, because they couldn't get a pressure or get in the backfield or disrupt at all against that offensive line. So they brought more pressures at certain times. Other than that, I didn't really see anything crazy.
Yeah, offensively, Vincent, and we appreciate the call. Didn't really have to make too many adjustments. You had nearly 300 yards of offense in the first half, and that's with drops, a missed kick, turnovers. So you were doing everything you absolutely needed to do, offensively speaking. Didn't have to change anything there. Defensively, that's how they got off the field. They forced the issue. And then Richardson threw a couple of balls in the dirt. Also, I think if Napier could do it over again, not that I care if he does or not, but I think he would have called more traditional runs to start those drives as well. They wanted to hit the bubbles. I think they wanted to open up some things more than just the traditional run, but it was working for them. So if I was criticizing what they were doing, I would do that. But on 3rd and obvious, they were not sitting back. Florida State was not sitting back and waiting for something to happen. They were going to force the issue with a quarterback who, entering tonight, had a completion percentage under 60 for the season. It just got worse after tonight, too. So that was the adjustment. Gene is correct. Pressures.
Tom, I thought about that, too. It's interesting to me from Florida's perspective. Like you said, coming into that third quarter, when they had just gashed Florida State in the second quarter running the football, they started throwing the ball around in that third quarter because they did not score in that quarter. And I was kind of like thinking, what is this? All I can think is Napier was out thinking himself, thinking, okay, Florida State's going to adjust because we ran so well against them that I'm going to throw the ball on them now. That just seems to me, I think, a process of overthinking.
Yeah, they had one play that was schemed up, according to Osweiler. They didn't have great camera angles in this game. Stop me if you've heard that before. But they had the one throw to the running back that he missed to the left. And
but I thought he was about to get blown up anyway.
Well, that was the one to the top of the screen.
Okay.
Yes, that would have been blown up. I think Greedy Vance was all over that.
I was almost like complete that pass. That would have been a 3-yard loss or a fumble.
Or a fumble. You're absolutely right. There was one to the offense's left that apparently had room for days. But outside of that, I mean, you had a catch that Jarrion Jones jostled free with a good job.
Great play.
Coverage. But, I mean, they were hammering Florida State between the line of scrimmage. Both running backs were. Etienne actually was more of the late bloomer in this game. I didn't understand that. But the other thing I didn't understand from Napier too, and I'm happy for it, at the end of the first half and at the end of the game, he's the one that's calling timeouts in an advantageous situation for the Gators when they're controlling the clock. I just didn't understand some of his decisions with timeout management, but they can complain
Well,
about
that worked at the end. Them having only one timeout, it definitely put a little bit more pressure on them on that last drive because they could have called different plays in that situation had they had 2 more timeouts. So that was big for them.
Oh, Bayou Billy burning them timeouts. Good for you, Billy. We appreciate that. We also appreciate the official DMD of Warchant TV. What a pillar he is in this season, a great supporter of the program. We thank our guy, Z-Chan, a.k.a. Zach in Thomasville. Zach, are you still inside the state of Florida, or have you made it across the border towards home in Thomasville? Welcome to the program, good sir.
Tom, I am staring at the Civic Center sign right now. So, no, I haven't moved very far at all. Man, I tell you what, that was, Gene, you were asking earlier about the atmosphere. That was as unbelievable an atmosphere especially late in the fourth quarter as you could have asked for inside Doak. It was loud, raucous. You couldn't hear. There was a guy sitting in front of me holding his fingers in his ears because it was too loud for him, which was classic. But just fantastic environment. Just main thing I was calling to talk about, I just wanted to tell you guys and say just how proud I am of the heart the team showed. There were some people talking, heard some buzz that, we hadn't really played anybody. Why are we so excited? And this team's going to fold the first time they get some adversity. And, and there were times they were pressing tonight. You could tell that Jordan Travis was trying to make a play, or there was a receiver trying to make a play, or even on defense. But at the end of the day, they made the moves they had to make to come out on top. And I was super proud of them. And now we get to celebrate. Now we get to see where we're going to go bowling.
That's a fun part of the process. And Z-Chan, let me ask you one question before we let you go. How many wins did you expect in the preseason? I know we talked out in New Orleans, but I don't know if I ever got a number for you. And so by definition, did this exceed the total you were looking for?
Yeah, I was probably in the 8 neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like if we could get 8 wins, I would have called that a success. I thought it was realistic that we could have gotten 8 wins. We all knew that stretch in the middle was going to be tough. I did expect us to come away with one of those wins, at least. But then I thought, well, you probably lose LSU, and then you lose one between Miami and Florida. Well, you picked up both against Florida, picked up the one against LSU, and you lost the 3 in the middle. So, but no, I think 8 wins, so definitely success, definitely a fantastic season. Can't wait to see what it does for recruiting. Can't wait to see what the transfer portal stuff, how that shakes out in a few days, and then of course National Signing Day. I'm excited to hear what all Michael Langston has to tell us as far as what this season has done for recruiting, and then we get to go to an awesome bowl and hopefully play a really good team and win, and just good stuff. Can't wait for next year. That's going to be exciting. Y'all enjoy your evening. Glad I was able to get through. And thanks for all y'all do. Go Noles.
Thanks for all you do, Z-Chan. We really appreciate you, and safe travels back home tonight. It'll be it's either the best sleep that you're ever going to get, like the easiest, Gene, to bed, or it's going to be impossible to go to bed. I don't think.
I think I'm sleeping like a baby tonight, after that. But thank you, Z-Chan, one of the pillars of the show.
That's right.
But we have another pillar, I think, coming on here.
From the pillar of Warchant TV to the cornerstone of Warchant.com. There he is. He is the lead and senior writer. His name is Corey Clark, and he is now in the featured screen on the Warchant Game show. What you got for?
What's up, gang? Sorry, I'm walking out of the stadium right now. I was gonna do it from the stadium, then a bunch of hooligans came on the field.
The hooligans are trying to rough you up, Corey?
Yeah, they were with the gator head screaming and tackling each other. So I'm like, well, I'm getting out of here. So let me walk out of this stadium real quick. Hopefully this alarm isn't about to go off. If it does, I apologize, but it doesn't usually go off.
Uh-oh. This will be good live TV. All right.
Yeah. So what's up, gang? That was fun.
Yeah, I do want to get it's your take on this. One thing, Jordan Travis was a freak and willed him to a win. We saw that. I mean, on the level of how he carried this team on his back tonight because the defense wasn't having it. Just can you put his performance in any kind of context? It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and Norvell said afterwards, he's like, man, some of the things he did on the football field, wow. Like, that's a direct quote. And I agree. Like, I've talked about this before when it came to Charlie Ward in 1993. And Ira compared it to that when in that Florida game in 93, where it's like Charlie just wasn't going to let him lose. And obviously Jordan Travis isn't Charlie Ward, but he's not as far off as we thought he was 15 months ago. And so I remember after the 93 game when Bowden was asked about his thoughts going into that game, and he's like, look, I was worried because they have a good defense and they have a really good offense and we're equally matched, you guys, but we have Charlie. And I think there's a growing sense around this program. Well, we got Jordan because there aren't many like this guy. And this wasn't just a one game sensation for him. It's the best 13 of 30 game I've ever seen. Legitimately, I don't know that I've seen a better one. 13 of 30 for 270, and he had at least 5 drops, some crucial drops. But, man, it was just – you're right because you can't say the receivers played great. Benson had some really nice runs, but he didn't have a lot of great runs. Jordan Travis was the difference. He was the best player on the field, and they're 9-3 because of him.
Now, a lot of people in the chat, callers, everybody, and Tom and I have talked about it a little bit. Obviously, the defense was not – we knew Florida's going to score some points, but – to dominate really in the trenches, I don't think we expected that on both sides of the ball. Anything you gleaned from being there, talking to the players and the coaches after, what was going on there? It was Florida just a lot better than Florida State in the trenches tonight.
Honestly, Gene, he wasn't asked about it much. And I even said in the column that'll be up on Warchant soon, like there's a time to dissect the defense's poor play. I don't know after just beating your rival in a game like that to go 9-3, you want to nitpick and hand wring too much. They were not good for a majority of the game. But to start the third quarter, the entirety of the third quarter, they came out in that 3-possession stretch, 3 straight 3-and-outs, and then you go down and score on all 3 drives. That's complimentary football, and that was really good to see. The fourth quarter, not great, but they did get the stop, which was awesome at the end of the game. But yeah, the defense just kind of got pushed out of the way. I think they had made it 38-31 without completing a pass in the second half. They were just running. Yeah. They were just running on them, and so it was really cool. It was nice for them to get the stop. But yeah, obviously you watched that game and thought, okay, that was not a great showing by any stretch. But you won your 9-3, and your defense was still better than their defense.
Corey, you mentioned 9-3, and I want you to put this perspective. You've covered this team a long time. You've been around sports. You've followed sports your whole life. From where this team was, bring yourself to the halftime of that Louisville game last year, where they were at, what you were thinking about this team, and where they are now. Have you seen a program or a team at any level just do a complete 180 like this and be this good in this short a time and turn things around like that?
I certainly haven't. I mean, I just from my own experience, no. And it's not just 0-4 and being down 31-14 at half to Louisville or 31-13, whatever it was. By the way, this is a pretty cool shot.
I like that.
With the stadium behind me like this, it's pretty cool. This should be a poster. But they lost to Jacksonville State last year, man. They were a laughingstock in September last year. A laughingstock. Imagine all those Gator and Miami fans that September night last year when they watched Florida State lose to Jacksonville State with their new hotshot coach and how much they must have laughed and texted their buddies. Well, now you just lost to them. In Miami, you've lost 2 in a row to them, and you just got embarrassed on your home field. That's how much he's turned this program around. Where now they were 8-13 his first 2 years at Florida State. In his first 21 games, they were 8-13. Well, look at where they are now, man. I mean, this is a really, I think they were, 3-10 in his first 13 games. Mm-hmm. And now he's above 500 as a coach. And they don't seem to be slowing down. And if they get Jordan Travis to come back, they probably won't. But yeah, no, it's been a really cool, it's been a remarkable turnaround, man. Because they were 2 years ago, guys, you could argue they were one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country. Just completely uncompetitive the last half of that season. And then to them to be now 9-3 with a chance at 10 wins, to win the Florida championship, the state championship, to be the best team in Louisiana too. Man, Norvell's doing some things, guys. He's doing some things. It's fun to watch. And this offense, it's just he's really good at this, man. He's really good at this offense is so much better than I ever thought it could be.
Corey, they won 5 in a row. As you said, they're state champs. This means something special tomorrow at the corner pocket. I know you've been kind of hinting. We've all kind of said what we're going to do. Are you just going to leave all the fans in suspense until tomorrow at 11:30 corner pocket? We can give any hints. What's going on tomorrow?
No, I don't have any hints at all. I'm going to sit there and watch you guys and just drink my Mio. Tom,
Uh-huh.
so is it 11:30? Are we doing a show?
Yeah, it's a show. We've got to decide the order of operations. Like, are we going to do the keg stands and the funnels and then conduct the business of the show? Or are we going to do the recap of what a season it's been and then the crescendo of the broadcast just before kickoff at noon are the keg stands and the funnels?
I just think you talked yourself into it. I think the crescendo is the keg stand.
Exactly. You got to build up the excitement.
You don't start with the money shot, Tom.
That's right. Well, but here's a money shot for you, buddy. Look at this. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. Look at that's great. I mean, I look mean.
Yeah.
But that's a great looking shot. That's awesome.
I hand drew that quick.
Oh, that really quickly too. That's really impressive, man. That's going to go on my fridge.
So I know that columns are the name of your game, but Corey, if you were trying to write a game story and you were just trying to summarize what this thing is and you had, I don't know, 600 words, how the hell do you write a game story about this? It's so hard to encapsulate.
Yeah, I think we've touched on it. Jordan Travis is where I'd lead. That'd be my lead. That's who I'd focus on. But yeah, the running defense getting kind of obliterated, but then, your defense making a stand finally at the end of the game. And then look, I'd also point this out. Johnny Wilson had a horrible game through 3 quarters. He was legitimately almost helping Florida. He was costing Florida State points. With the game on the line, in the whole offseason on the line, the good feelings about the offseason on a 3rd and 6, when he's not open, he goes down and makes that catch, whatever it was, 25 yards, keeps that drive alive. They score 3 or 4 plays later to go ahead. That's so cool to see, man, because that kid has not played in many moments like this. He just hasn't. They don't have moments like this in Tempe anyway when he was there, and he wasn't playing much. So you grow, and he that's a really big play for him, man. It was really cool to see. And then Trey Benson, obviously being Trey Benson. I do think the viewers would probably want to know, we did ask Jordan Travis, Jared Verse, and Trey Benson all about, actually I think Aslan asked them all, because Aslan's the man, about their future plans. None of them were committal, as you might say. Jordan Travis said he was going to pray on it. I think a lot of Florida State fans will be praying about it as well. And then Jared Verse said he's going to talk it over with his family. So did Trey Benson. But Trey Benson also said he's still really young. And he also, when Jared Verse was talking about it, you should go watch the videos, guys, of Verse and Benson, because they're on the podium together. Benson, because they're roommates. Benson's kind of like cajoling them, like, hey, yeah, man, you should come back. He didn't say that, but the way he was acting was like, yeah, you could come back and let's do this all over again. So again, though, 9-3 with a chance at 10 wins, and you don't know who's coming back, but you feel really good about where you're going to be next year too, if the quarterback's one of them.
Well, sounds good, Corey. Well, next stop, probably Jacksonville or maybe even Miami. Who knows? But anyway,
Miami. So, Gene, are you going to be at CP at 11:30?
I made a committal too, man. I'm funneling.
Okay. All right.
I'm there.
So, Tom, I was told by Bill that he doesn't have the what you need for a keg stand. What were those called? What are those called? The hoses?
People? Oh, the hoses that go in the kegs?
The hoses that go in the keg.
What?
So he does not have those. So, because he doesn't get kegs like that.
Well, we got 2,000 people here. Somebody bring a hose by and a funnel tomorrow.
Or an idea of how to get one, because we need to hook one up to a keg
stand.
Somebody
go by Mike's Beer Barn. They have one.
Tom Lang, Gene Williams. Gene, you're the owner. Go by Mike's Beer Barn tomorrow and get us some. Come on, if you want this to happen. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, we're all just going to be dipping Mio.
Hey, man, you're like 10 steps from Mike's Beer Barn right now. I'm sure they're not closed. They're going to be open for another.
They're open.
That would be fun. That would be.
They're open for another 30 minutes. You got plenty of time.
Like, take a video of you walking in there and say, "Hey, can I get 2 of the?"
That's what we should have done. Have you at Mike's Beer Barn during this video?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably not crazy. I'd get paid.
Good stuff, Corey. So look forward to your column tonight. I assume it's in the hopper and we're waiting for Ira.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's got to, and I got to add some quotes. It's going to be a late night, gang. It's 1:30, and I'm just now leaving Doak. It's going to be a late night and apparently an early morning, so I can go get drunk.
Yes. That's what we do.
But 9-3, baby, they deserve it. 9-3.
Yep, you got it. Good work, Corey. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Apparently, getting drunk.
That's the guy right there. That's Corey Clark, the lead writer, senior writer from warchant.com. We've got a few people, quite a few that we need to thank, and then we've got a few more calls before we wrap up this particular edition of the Warchant Game Day post-game call-in show. 100 Proof Football again.
He's back. You're
My
man.
man. What a great call earlier tonight. If you missed that, maybe we'll have Ben pull that call in its entirety just for people to enjoy on social media. Anyone rushing the field should get the F out. We ain't done that since 96, our first undefeated season. We are Florida State. Just sounded like Odell there. We don't rush the field for beating 6-6 UF. That's the standard. Did people really do that tonight? That's crazy.
I saw the clip at the end. It looked like there were a lot of people on the field, but there was some weird booster thing where they people who were certain boosters were allowed to come on the field at the end. So I don't know if it was necessarily rushing the field or like a pre-planned thing with the boosters.
Yeah, maybe it's like the Balance Society or something along those lines. Brett Davidson, love the show. Watching it. Thailand. Wow.
Oh.
Time continues. Thank you, Brett.
Ralph, you got someone further away watching the show.
How about that? Thank you, Brett. That means a lot.
Brett.
Really appreciate it. Oh,
there he is, the instigator himself.
Keg stands.
He brought the whole thing up. Eric, we need funnels and we need hoses for the kegs.
That's right. Eric, yes. You know, if you need a couple of bucks, I'll float you a couple of bucks.
Yeah, well, we got you covered.
Thank you, my man. Lost River, thank you very much. We love that we beat the bleeping Gators, but are talking about deficiencies within our team tells me that we are back.
Yes.
All right. I like that. A positive.
That's true.
Thing.
That's a way to turn a negative into a positive.
100 Proof Football.
Woo.
Back to the top rope. AR said, when we beat FSU, J Trav tweeted, give me that momentum. Go Noles. Amazing atmosphere in Doak tonight. So thankful for our fans. There we go. Good tweet. Good tweet from Jordan Travis. Swiss Irish. What's going on, Brian? Props for continuing past midnight West Florida time, finishing up this victory cigar. Any thoughts on Napier's third quarter versus Fuller? LFG. Well, you know what? You got a few of those, Swiss Irish. We talked about that. We found some of his decisions head-scratching. Hope that answered your question. NoleBuck83, great meeting you today. Great to meet you today at Hotel Indigo. Got a photo with Noel Buck and his two young boys.
Yeah, I got to meet him. Great guy.
Very nice gentleman. If Johnny has a better game and Fitzy hits his kicks, this ain't close. Gene, guess you were right. There you go.
I said I was nervous about it. I thought it was going to be close. So.
Yep, that is correct.
But I also said I was nervous about Miami. So the bottom line is they've won both.
FSU Fan 93 doesn't let 2015 ever go by without mentioning. At 1:33, it'll be 27-2, and it will be in just a minute or two. It's 1:29. My favorite FSU UF game. This is now number one. Oh, okay. I see it.
Oh, okay.
My second favorite. I skipped over a word. Dane Jensen, thank you very much. We appreciate you. San Diego Chris, I see you in there throwing down with the Mexicano currency.
Second Holiday Bowl.
Sorry, FSU. Guys won't be coming to San Diego, but well worth it. See you next season at Indigo. Yes, we look forward to it, Christopher, and I've got some holiday libations in the hopper on the way to you here shortly. Jen 7667, Lions of scrimmage. We're in L. Jordan Travis has the game of the year. Climbing, a few more playmakers, and we are rolling. Well, Jan, I think Gene would agree. A few more hog mollies, and they're
exactly. I want more of those, the big uglies. That's what you need.
Gordon Alford says, we need Jeff to call in. Will tomorrow be live on Warchant TV and Go Noles State Champs? The answer is yes. That show is going to be live. Hopefully we have what we need in terms of gear. That is now a concern.
If not, we're going to be doing a bunch of shotguns or something. I don't know what else we could do.
Yep, that's right. That's now a concern. That
we could just stand on the kegs upside down and do shotguns. I mean, we'll improvise.
That's next level. Angela, how you doing? Runner Angela says, J-Trav, let's ride. I like it. Slow 88 LX. So you think Jordan Travis is coming back, not being a senior and all? We just told you. 80,
yep, we think so.
80-20. Lila Chapman, thoughts on rushing the field? I agree. If you did and you weren't allowed to before the game, I agree with 100%.
It is weak sauce. I would agree. But again, I tend to think maybe they wasn't really a rushing of the field, but we'll have to find out.
Timothy Dangerfield made it down from Tennessee, broke my ankle, and all me and my son, 3 grandson, and 2 friends had a blast. Actually was able to meet Corey on the way into the stadium. Maybe next time I can meet the rest of the crew. Go Noles. Timothy, feel better, man.
Yeah.
That sucks. You broke your ankle. Well, Jordan Travis broke a few ankles tonight too, so you're in good company. Noel Kev, tonight is a mother-loving Red Solo Cup and Xbox.
There you go. Bring up that picture if you got it there, Ben.
Come on, Ben. You can throw it up. There it is. Lots of criticism, but I'm putting it all to the side for tonight. Good call, Noel Kev. Good call. State champs. Warchant. That's right. Sign up right now at warchant.com. $10 through August 31st of next year. You won't be disappointed. John getting poetic, deep in the heart of the belly of the beast. I thought we'd actually get a fair game from SEC refs. Almost makes you wish for an SEC crew.
No, it does not.
Screw them. We won, and the world is as it should be. My goodness, folks, you are so generous tonight. Jamie Jolly, great win at Coach Norvell showing he's our guy. We certainly agree with that. Let's put a pause on those. No, we can't.
One
Alex
more,
says, thank you, Alex. My goodness.
Screw the Gators, absolutely, and the refs.
We appreciate you, Alex. We appreciate you very much. All right, we've got 3 folks who have been waiting for an excess of 15 to 25 minutes, depending upon who they are and the callers. These are the final 3 calls of the night on the Warchant Game Day postgame call-in show. We go to Fergus in Delisle, Mississippi. Fergus, welcome to the program. You are on the Warchant Game Day postgame show. A new caller. Welcome in and give us your thoughts after the Noles improved to 9-3.
Hey, look, I'm gonna correct it real quick. It's Delisle, Mississippi. It's a very small town.
All right.
No big deal. Second of all, I'm very positive. I love where my Noles are going. I hope the recruits see this and come aboard. And listen, I love beating Miami, Florida. We're gonna get Clemson next year. I'm so freaking excited. I got the 2010 vibes going. Go Noles, baby. I love what y'all doing. Keep it going.
Right.
Later.
All right. Thank you, Fergus. Delisle, Mississippi. I won't forget that. There we go. He's feeling the energy, Gene. That's what beating your rivals to end the season will do. Everything just looks better outside.
Well, it's sweeter when you've been beat down, when you were just, as Corey pointed out, I mean, there were some analytics from that 2020. They were the worst team in the Power 5.
Yeah.
To go from that to now you beat both your rivals, your state champs, 9 wins. I think recruiting's on the rise, transfer portal. I mean, everything. It's exciting to be on the upturn. When you're going up that mountain, you're in that valley for a long time. It sucks, but you feel that climb and you're getting higher and higher, and you can feel it. Man, it's the best feeling in sports.
Well, and the thing that we're looking for this upcoming year is not to have a 2011 season. Because remember, 2011 was a minor step back before the launch forward. So how do you prevent that from happening? The transfer portal can go a long way in helping that. We now go to one of our favorites. For the 17th time on Warchant TV, we talk to Gene in Ocala. Gene in Ocala, welcome to the program. We were hoping we'd get to you tonight. You, sir, are in Florida Gator territory, so I'm sure that you're going to have a lot of bragging rights in your hometown over the next week to, 365 days. Welcome in, Gene.
Oh, man, Tom, Gene, what's going on?
Man, we're talking to you after beating Florida. What's going on with you?
Just trying to take these haters, get these haters off my back down here. It's kind of tough down here in Gator Country. But I'm so glad that we won tonight. Really enjoyed it. Just hope that we can get J Trav coming back. What a game. I didn't understand those reviews that we had on the goal line, and they didn't even get a review on that goal line that they had. But what a game. Love this team. Love you guys. Go Noles. So glad for it. And we're chopping it up. And
oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And we're chopping it up, and we're grilling some gator. Y'all have a good one.
You too, Gene. I've got a note on his call, Gene Williams, and I will advance the question. He says, how do we keep the team together to make a run at an ACC championship next year? Is it a simple NIL and retention?
It starts with Jordan.
Yeah.
You got a couple of these key players back. Jordan obviously being the most important. A couple of those key players at other positions, and then you got to fill in some spots in the portal. If you can do that, I mean, obviously we talked about FSU being on the rise. You can feel Clemson is slowly but surely they're starting to come on the other side of the mountain. They're on the decline. At some point, you're going to reach them. I think next year may be the year you reach them. You pass them and you win the ACC. I think first it's got to, if they get the right players back, you hit it in the portal again. They got a great opportunity to make it run at the ACC next year.
This just looks like a really fun program to play for if I'm either 17, 18, and I'm making my decision out of high school, or if I'm not in a place I currently want to be in college. That offense looks like it's a real fun offense to play in now, whether you're a running back or a receiver. Last year, receivers couldn't say that, but now they can. And you can see that the defense is close if you've got a couple of more pieces, and that's a great thing to be able to pitch. is, look, we're the number one pass defense in the ACC, but we could be better, and you could be the difference. And here's $500,000 to make sure that
that helps too. And why not? If you're one of these guys in the SEC, why play for the SEC when you lose games? Why not play for Florida State when you beat the SEC every time? Wouldn't you rather beat those teams?
It's an easy argument to make. And we now go to SEC country for our final caller of the night. He used to be Josh in Richmond, but now he's Josh in Georgia. Josh in Georgia. Thank you for your patience for waiting a little over 20 minutes.
Yeah. Go Noles. I'm so proud of them. Great season. I was hoping at the beginning of the year for 8-4, going 2-1 versus Florida, Miami, and Clemson. We went 9-3, got the 2-1 versus them. And I wanted to prop up two of our guys tonight. We got Trey Benson, who absolutely put that dude on his butt on that first run of the game. And then also Jordan Travis, it said he had like 80-something yards. I'm pretty sure he had like 500 because he kept on eluding all those defenders in the backfield and just running. Oh, man, it was just awesome. But I guess a question I'd have for you, like if you threw out like affiliations with bowls and everything, I would ask you, what team would you kind of say would be our ceiling that we could beat? Would it be like a Southern Cal or a Tennessee? Like if it didn't really matter about bowl affiliation, what matchup would you like to see? But I love you guys. Go Noles. Great season. And y'all have a good one.
Well, we appreciate the call, Josh. We really do. Yeah, all right, Gene. So I think you're still going to stick maybe in the SEC. But I'd find it really fascinating to see Florida State match up with USC, given that would be a lot like what you saw tonight, which is a score fest. I mean, how could it not be?
That'd be fun. I'd be okay with that. I don't know, because I think I want to have meaningful games. To me, USC's great, and it would be a fun game. It'd be a nice matchup. I think two pretty even teams. But again, you beat USC or whatever, it's kind of like, well, that's nice. But that's why I want to beat another SEC team. I'm sorry, but I do. Or a big name Big Ten team, I would like to say. So, yeah, you said Tennessee. I mentioned the possibility. Still not a distant, but a slightly slim possibility of playing Alabama. I'd like to see that. Again, I'm guessing without their quarterback probably, and I'll take that. It doesn't matter. You beat that big A. You beat the elephant. I mean, let's face it. They've been the king of college football for a long time. That'd be a nice feather in your cap. Going into the offseason, you could do that. I'd love to see that. So, I mean, those two teams, you already beat LSU. So, I don't know. I mean, who else in the SEC in the South would you like to play, Tom?
Honestly, I just want to play Bama. I just,
it would be fun, wouldn't it?
I feel a little less enthusiastic about it after I saw the trenches tonight. But, I mean, you're still going to score. This is Florida State.
I don't think after what I saw, I don't think any defense is going to stop Jordan Travis in this offense. I think they're scoring on people regardless.
Yeah, indeed they are. Vishal, thank you very much, man. We can't wait to see you tomorrow. Hopefully you brought the fam with you this weekend, but we'll see you tomorrow at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Go ahead, Gene.
I was going to say, do you need to do another Zaxby's break here before we go through all these and say goodbye? Why don't we do that? Because I need to make a run, get another refill.
And here I thought Gene just had an internal counter. He had an internal refill alarm going off. We'll be back in just over a minute for our closing thoughts, promoting what's coming up here on Warchant TV, warchant.com. You are watching Warchant GameDay presented by Zaxby's.
Something big, something huge is taking over the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich, it's taking over. And it's only at Zaxby's.
Warchant.com has been the definitive home of all things FSU sports for over 20 years and is now part of On3, the next generation network. Warchant.com has the most experienced, tenured, and largest staff on the Florida State sports beat and now features innovative resources, including an NIL database that projects player value and a truly aggregated composite recruiting ranking system that will set the bar in the industry.
There are no words to describe the perfect pairing of Zaxby's hand-breaded fingers and our 12 delectable sauces. But there is a sound, and that sound is The Zaxby's Chicken Finger Plate with endless sauce abilities. Only at Zaxby's.
pit boss right there. And I'm not talking about the kind at a casino. I'm talking like he's in the pits at a NASCAR race. Gene landed in the chair as we were coming back from break. That was
I
very
got it timed out. I know how this stuff goes. This is unbelievable, Tom. We've been going for, man, we're coming up on 2 hours. We did a little we have about a 30-second prep, and we just said, what do you say, about an hour and a half? No, we're 2 hours now, baby. We still have almost 1,500 people. I mean, that shows there's some excited FSU fans, Tom.
If you can get by the initial wave of exhaustion from emotionally, after that game is over, the crash of the adrenaline, then you could be up until corner pocket time tomorrow. I could see that because this is a game.
Or they're still stuck in traffic. Maybe by the time they get onto Appalachian Parkway, it'll be time for the corner pocket events.
I could see wanting to turn this game on from scratch. I mean, it's just so littered with everything. This game had everything, and it didn't for Gator fans because it didn't have a win, but it did for Noles fans. It had everything plus the cherry on top. Director Matthew, you're too kind. Marcus, I saw that thought as well. Thank you very much.
Yep.
We are all look at that. Oh, yes, indeed. They do. Thank you.
Yes, Ben. You do suck.
There's some more. Yeah. Yeah, just look to the sky. It's never your fault.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, man, Ben went hunting. Look at this.
This reminds me of the old man cave. These are some of the memes we used to pull out from that show.
That's right. I remember the old flash drives. Remember the flash drive sometimes didn't work?
Oh, my gosh.
You know what's not stressful, though? Being 9-3 and not having to ask, do we have the right coach in Tallahassee? I think we're all kind of – if you had your anti-Mike Norvell – pitchforks out, I think you put that back in the garage. I think you closed up the garage door. And
I think we're safe this offseason.
You're along for the ride. Yuckmouth says, thanks for holding it down post-game all year. Gene and Tom, Warchant worldwide. Look forward to getting some Warchant gear next year. Go Noles. All right, Yuckmouth. That's right. There'll be a lot of gear, a lot of fun to be had in the year to come. Marcus, thank you very much. The Michael Strahan. I don't know that I'll have the gap like he does, and I don't know that I have the athleticism that he does, but thank you.
You do have the versatility here, though, Tom. That's what he's talking about.
I appreciate it. Thanks. And Antoine, thank you very much. J-Trav for Heisman Watch next year.
That's another thing. That's another motivation. That's a good point, Antoine. Coming back next year, like, dude, he's got to be at the forefront of the Heisman, one of the contenders.
If you can make a good NIL pitch and say how much money and prove how much money a Heisman is worth to your own brand in this era, that is a nice.
Well, look at all those Nissan commercials. Even after you're retired, you're still making bank just on those.
Oh, yeah, totally. South Florida Nole, and he would break the streak of W's if that was to happen, Gene. It would be 3 W's and a T. Ward, Wenke, Winston, and Travis. Till Dog, Jeff Cameron knows I can go all night celebrating this. There you go, Till Dog. Nice, nice. I know a lot of you are, and we hope you enjoy this program here tonight. But we've got a lot coming up for you in the next 24 to 48 hours. We got a whole nother day to play with this weekend. Tomorrow is only Saturday. Today, technically, is only Saturday, folks. You've got Rivalry Saturday kicking off in 10 hours and about 13 minutes. So if you want to lock in from noon till 1 in the morning tomorrow, you better get to bed soon. You do want.
They don't want to go to bed, Tom. They're still watching the show. They want us to go pull an all-nighter straight in the corner pocket. We'll just keep this feed going, right, Tom?
That's right. And then I'll put my phone in my car as I'm driving, and we'll keep talking as we're driving in the car.
As we go to Mike's Beer Barn, have you got funnels? Have you got a hose for a keg? We'll just go right in there, the whole thing.
There it is. You see it at the bottom of the screen. 11:30 a.m. is when the show begins. It'll be an informal half-an-hour show. I don't even know who's going to be on and hosting and talking. We'll figure that out later. But at the end, just before kickoff of all the games at noon, probably around 11:50 to give the corner pocket some cleanup time, we'll do the keg stands if we can facilitate that. We will do the funnels and whatever other debauchery that we decide and deem fit. That's what's coming up on Warchant TV tomorrow. Sunday Smash, Sunday night. That'll be 7 p.m., a little season wrap edition of the Sunday Smash, maybe a little bit of recruiting talk as well, as Florida State is into recruiting season and transfer portal season. And then Gene, he personally is going to have the PFF grades ready in about 1 hour from now.
Yeah, at this point. They're probably, no, I don't think so. I think you may have to wait to Sunday. That one, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But if you want me to look, if you want to give me the pass and I don't have to do beer funnels, then fine. But I think most people would prefer me doing a beer funnel.
That's right. We can worry about those PFF grades on Sunday. The trench grades.
I would say I'm giving Jordan Travis 100 right now. So no, he did have a couple bad passes. I give him a 98. How about that?
He might have a 98 with a pick, which would be pretty absurd.
Yeah.
For Football Focus. I'll bet you Renardo Green's going to have a pretty good grade too, but I look forward to seeing that report. Corey's column should be up on warchant.com shortly, very shortly. Ira's 321 is going to be a part of the weekend proceedings. And then we've got live shows for you all throughout the week. 1 p.m. on Monday, the Jeff Cameron Show reacts to sweeping the rivals in the state of Florida. Tuesday, Seminole Headlines at 1 o'clock. And remember always, folks, that as you start your day, head to your favorite podcast provider or YouTube, Warchant TV on YouTube, and wake up Warchant. We'll be waiting for you right there. Gene, any other things you want to promo before we sign off for this night?
No, I'm curious I'm trying to remember the schedule. So this rivalry weekend, so they will do, so we've got that, and then conference championships. Will they, that next Sunday, will the bowl committee will do their final, or the committee will do their final rankings?
Yes.
So we'll do another, probably after this plays out, we'll do another bowl projection early in the week.
And look, if TCU were to lose tomorrow, if, Michigan, one of Michigan and Ohio State's going to lose tomorrow.
It's better of Ohio State, especially if they blow out Michigan. That's helpful for Florida State.
Correct. And if Notre Dame was to beat USC, then you're staring it right in the face at that point.
Yeah, it's like, and trust me, the people in South Florida really want, we have connections down there. That Orange Bowl committee is hoping, they want Florida State down there. And I know some Jacksonville folks are not happy. They know we want Florida State. You should get Florida State, but if you can play in the Orange Bowl against Alabama, I'm sorry, Jacksonville, but you're going to have to wait.
I am not rooting for Clemson, but I'm rooting for Florida State to make it to the Orange Bowl. So
yeah,
that's how tomorrow is going to go, and that's my rooting guide. And
the crying Jordans are back again.
What a great way to send it off. We've got a few people to thank behind the scenes. Ben, who's done a wonderful job directing the programs today. Thank you very much, Ben. Been an outstanding season. What a great addition to the team here at Warchant. Thank you for all your hard work. Ben. To Terry, who is screening the calls after another victorious show. That's 5 in a row. 4 wins, then a streak we don't want to talk about, and then 5 wins. What a heady year this was.
Yeah.
On the Warchant Postgame Show. Thank you, Terry, for keeping those notes clean so that I can know who's coming, and that really helps us all a lot. There's more people behind the scenes than you know, folks, who make this whole thing go around. Gene, obviously want to thank you for another season. Thank you for bringing me on for this project 3 years ago. I think now it's starting to do what we thought it was going to do in terms of smiles instead of frowns at the postgame show.
It's funny when they win a few games how this is a lot more fun to do. It was not that first year. It's a little rough at times.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we've come a long way, baby, just like the team has. So it's been a fun ride.
To our friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, that's going to be a busy place tomorrow in Tallahassee. ABC Fine Wine and Spirits throughout the state of Florida. Make sure as you're going to holiday parties, if you just want to set it and forget it, they've got gift baskets with wine or bourbon and glasses and chocolates and all kinds of stuff. Let them take care of the people that are on your acquaintance/friend list. Just go to ABC and you're all set. But the biggest thanks goes to our friends, Gene, at Zaxby's for bringing us 12 games and 35 broadcasts. We had no watch-along tonight, but 35 different shows over 12 games. It isn't possible without the great support of people like Danny at Zaxby's. So we want to thank them and say, man, you made this year even more special. So we appreciate you. All right, that about does it. 9-3, go the Noles. It is a really, really fun season. That's not over yet. We've got a bowl game to break down sometime soon on Warchant TV. Until then, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to our channel for absolutely free, and you'll get the best FSU coverage in the business. For Gene Williams, my name is Tom Lang. We'll see you in about 9.5 hours.
Oh, boy. Not much sleep. But
on Warchant TV.
I'll be ready. I'm ready. Can't wait.
Let's go get this thing. Good night, Gators. Enjoy your tear-filled pillowcases. Good night.